What is up, everybody? I'm not waiting for the whole bass drop thing to start. I'm not doing that this time because there's too many people here to be awkward.
Dude, cut to them not hearing us because of the fucking bass.
We'll be like the sound of metal.
No, we'll be like fucking tennis.
No, guys. What is up, everybody? This is not the Double Toast Free Show. This is the Chat Attack. We're doing our own thing today. Finally, we're back. We know, or I know, that it's been a while.
No, you know.
Yeah, I know, he know, everybody know. No, the thing is, though, guys, big apologies from personally me. I know that I've been basically skipping the Saturday shows and everything. It's just like last week, I'm not gonna compete with fucking Corey. Okay, there's no way that people are gonna be watching us versus watching Coleman do his fucking thing.
He's a man of little faith.
No, it's just like I don't want to even get people the because imagine being a person who's like, I really want to watch a chat type, but I really want to watch Corey. I don't know what to do. Yeah.
I'm torn between my two worlds.
Look, there are people. We know them.
Mm-hmm. But you know what though? They didn't show us sometimes when fucking Corey's doing his thing. So fuck you people, goddammit. No,
actually, a lot of them stay. I appreciate every one of you, unlike this guy.
Yeah. By the way, how many times have you said fuck the chat? I don't know.
I haven't said it since we started the Double Toast pre-show because you literally told me not to.
That's true.
Litigation and an ass whooping.
See, guys, I was defending you. I was being a very nice guy. What's up, Game Boy SP 13?
Literally, hey, that walk. You tell the chat to go fuck itself way more than I do.
Well, I'm going to be doing it today for sure because once we're talking about some Marvel stuff, you guys, I know how you guys are in the fucking chat. You guys are going to piss me the fuck off and I'm going to grab your little fucking faces and I'm going to squeeze the fuck out of you in a bad way.
Yeah,
but
Diaz, don't be so fucking rough.
They're going to piss me off, dude. I'm sick of this shit, bro. I'm sick of this shit, dog.
Literally nothing happened and you're already mad.
I really am. I'm telling you guys, like, no joke, but I know I'm saying it jokingly right now, but before we started, and Alan can tell you, I literally told him, like, man, the chat's going to piss me off today. Once we get to the Marvel shit, you can kind of take some of it because I'm not in the fucking mood. So we'll see what happens with that shit.
Shit, Double Toasted is rating us with a party of 17.
Oh, yes. Look at them Pokemons, I think. Dude, when I first saw these, I was like, what the fuck are those? I didn't even know they were Pokemon because that's how stupid I am. My memories are...
Charmander and that Squirtle looks like it belongs in Cyberpunk.
Yeah, it really does. Ooh, and we're going to talk about Cyberpunk 2077. And
Cyberpunk, yes.
I can't wait for this Spider-Punk, man.
Did I say that for real?
Yeah.
Man, I fucked up.
Cyberpunk 2077.
But the thing is, though, we're joined also by Jet over here. Jet, how you doing, by the way?
I'm looking at the Macy's magazine and smelling the perfume samples.
Really? Do you have scratch and sniff perfume samples in the fucking magazines?
They always have.
You think with COVID they wouldn't have that anymore?
Yeah, you know,
they still
right?
do.
Imagine.
I mean, you don't really even have to scratch them. Like most of the time, they just spray a little perfume on there. You don't even have to touch the thing, and then they just tape it down.
Yeah. This is what COVID smells like.
Yeah, like you just start passing out, like, oh god, I got all the symptoms.
Like, hey, COVID's a deadly disease, but it smells really nice.
Dude, I'm gonna go around the call. I'm gonna save Ganja and Roxy for last. I don't even know if Roxy's gonna be there, but like with you, I'm gonna start with you first. When you start hearing about Corona, did you start did your brain start making you feel like you have it just for little shit? Like, oh, my arm feels weird. I ain't got COVID. Like, you start feeling
dude, it is ridiculous because. I don't generally, I don't get sick very often. I have a relatively good immune system, but I have telltale things that I know once I have, I'm sick. It's usually a sore throat in the morning. If I wake up and I have a sore throat, I'm like, okay, I'm sick. I'm going to have a headache.
It's me, it's green snot, personally. You ever dealt with that? Yep.
Yeah.
But I had snot? What?
You never have that, like, light green snot when if, like, you got a cold, like a strong day cold or an allergy infection or shit like that? That's, for me, that's always an indication that I'm about to be sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Everyone...
No, really quick, before I forget, before it goes, because I can see even scrolling up, some people were coming in chat.
Nickelodeon slime coming out your noses?
It's not that green.
I mean, no, but if I sneeze or something, if I sneeze and then I gotta clean my nose and it's a different color, then it's like, yeah, that's also an indication of you being sick.
But before it scrolls up too much, by the way, I'll let you continue right now. But
yeah.
Mike says, so get this, even though AEW is the top promotion in all of wrestling right now, only second to WWE, Jim Cornette says he hates them. What are your thoughts, Nick Diaz? And the reason why I'm answering this so quickly is so you guys know in the chat. If you guys send us bits, I'll answer your shit. I'll stop the conversation, obviously. I'll even interrupt Alan over here.
You go ahead and answer that while I try to process the fact these guys have a Nickelodeon green slime coming out of there.
Don't put me in on that, stupid motherfucker.
You said yeah. You said yeah.
But I had a rest of my sentence to go that if you're cleaning your nose and you notice that it's not transparent, it's a little bit green, then yes, you are fighting off an infection.
But the thing is, though, over here, they're talking about AEW. And the thing is, man, I just want to say that Jim Cornette has just been doing whatever he can to get people like you really, really pissed off at him. I like Jim Cornette a lot. He says a lot of racist shit. Ruthless has told me in the chat many a times, especially in the after hours, like, dude, how dare you fucking still enjoy that motherfucker? He's a piece of shit. He's a racist piece of shit. But the thing is, when it comes to WWE, lots of these redneck fucking wrestlers, a lot of them are racist. I'm sorry. That guy right in the front right there is a Trump supporter. And I love this fucking guy. And it sucks. I can't, like, that's why I don't like to know shit about people. Like, The Undertaker is also a Trump supporter. He has a
I don't like to know shit about people.
I really don't. I don't like to know shit. Because, like, dude, even, like, the fucking lead singer of Korn's a fucking freak. He got a Ted Bundy car and shit. He's fucking weird. I hate that shit. So, the thing about that, Mike, I think that it's really stupid that Jim Cornette thinks that way. I will say, though, that AEW has been very, very good this last month. But, man, they've had a lot of bullshit going on there. But I'll say that for other days where the bits come in and I can actually talk with you more about the wrestling and stuff. But with you, Alan, I had the same issue with ganja, like, because I've had times where I got green boogers coming out or green like spit. So is that a huge indicator of that kind of stuff? Or like,
what it basically means is when you're fighting off an infection, there are going to be different. Your snot's going to have different colors. It might not be as exaggerated because Jet's kind of losing her mind because I don't think she's ever really noticed that shit. But there are a lot of different indications, and it's going to change from person to person. Some people, it's like if they have a cough or whatever, that's like, okay, they know they're sick. For me, I don't really cough that much unless I'm full blown sick. So it's usually sore throat. So it's like, that's why I'm kind of worried now because I'm like, I was eating Wendy's and something and I didn't chew the fry enough. So it was like those stupid hard fries they keep in the bottom for some fucking reason. It's like the kernels of the popcorn. I accidentally ate it and I could tell, but now it's like my throat hurts. I'm like, oh fuck, I hope I didn't catch something.
Yeah, man. No, but I felt that so many times. Jed, I'm going to ask you before I get to ganja. Did you feel that a lot? Like, where you just keep imagining that you have corona just because you started hearing about it so much on the internet?
Honestly, I mean, like, yeah, there's times where, like, I thought, like, okay, maybe I do have it because, like, I'm waking up, like, kind of groggy and whatnot. And I realized, oh, wait, my room's just fucking cold.
Yeah. And, like, what Alan said earlier, he was talking about the fact that, like, hey, man, sore throat's a huge indicator. But for me, dude, like, I sleep with the fan on, like, literally on me. And I wake up every single day with a sore throat. Like, my stupid ass cannot learn my motherfucking lesson. I woke up this morning sick as fuck because of that fan. And here's the thing is that my mom has air conditioning on kind of high. So, like, I'll be sweating, and I literally pour water on me. And then go to bed with the fan on. So I'm just asking to fucking die, dude.
That just sounds amazing.
Oh, and E-Mike is talking about, so the trailer for Smash Ultimate was released in the Game Awards, and Sephiroth is one of the DLC that How do you think he'll play in this game?
This is all you, Alan.
I'll join it in, and I'm sure Jet's going to want to pop in as well. The thing about the Sephiroth and Smash is I'm not mad. Like, okay, I don't like sword fighters, but I'm not mad Sephiroth is in Smash because there's only one Final Fantasy representative besides him. It's Cloud. And it's like, yeah, that, I believe that every single representation of a franchise should have multiple people. For instance, Samus only had one for, honestly, most of it until Dark Samus came in. Sonic only has one. Mega Man only has one. It's like there are a lot of these different franchises that only have one. And the reason people were mad at Fire Emblem for being sword fighters is because Fire Emblem has like 6 representatives that are all sword fighters. There's no different representation. But if you look at the Mario world, Peach and Yoshi do not play the fucking same. Mario does not play the same as the other ones in that for that representation. So you get at least a differentiation going through. Zelda doesn't play anything like Link. So it's like you have 2 different people from the same franchise that play differently. Honestly, if I'm fighting Baelith or I'm fighting fucking Lucina, besides the fact that one of them pulls out a slightly different weapon, I fight them the same way.
Yeah, and by the way, one of my favorite moments from the Game Awards was actually seeing this still right here. Dude, that was clever.
Motherfucker got murdered.
That was so fucking cool, dude. I mean, especially like the one wing behind his back, because I forgot Sephiroth even has that look to him or whatever. But Jed, what'd you think about this? Did you feel like he really did stab the fuck out of Mario?
Actually, Ridley already stabbed him earlier.
Yeah.
Oh,
so part of me is like, yeah.
Mario just getting fucking shanked.
Dude, every single fucking promotional thing, one Mario brother dies.
Really? Okay, yeah. I did not know that. I wish I could look more into that stuff. You might saying, thank you for the bits, by the way, saying, although, also, there are rumors around that Ryu Hayabusa is going to be in the next DLC.
They're never gonna put a fucking Ninja Gaiden character in there.
Oh, see, because when it was Ryu, I was thinking, like, are you talking about Street Fighter? Like,
no, he's already in there.
Yeah, so why do you think
There's no way.
you're more likely to get a character in if your game is like fairly new. Like if you have a game that's coming out, it's more than likely you're gonna have a DLC.
And they
Well,
haven't had a
'cause the thing
fucking
is-
Ninja Gaiden game since 3.
Well, yeah, no. Sigma wasn't that way after? I can't remember. My bad.
Remember?
No, Stigma, some shit. But Ninja Gaiden,
Oh.
dude, Ninja Gaiden's a shit. And it's a Nintendo.
Oh no,
property.
it isn't. That franchise is terrible.
Oh, how fucking dare you, dude? That's one
What
of
are
the
you
best Nintendo
talking
games.
about? Even if you go back to the NES games, no one liked playing those. The
Oh,
fucking
what?
Xbox games were oh my god, dude. The fucking NES game was barred as one being one of the hardest things in the world, mostly because the AI or whatever. I don't think it was AI scripted effects, but the level design and everything was ridiculously difficult. So it was one of those Dark Souls before Dark Souls games. And then we played on the Xbox. All it was the hardest bosses that ever was put in the video games, mostly because of stupid bullshit. And just blood and gore in the second one, and nobody liked the third one. Like, Ninja Gaiden has never been good.
I think that the one that came out on the Xbox 360 was pretty good. I forgot which one.
Which
that
one was that? 2 or 3? Because 3 was terrible.
God, I think it was called Sigma. Yeah,
Sigma is the one that they did a that's the same kind of game because I want to say they put it on it was Xbox exclusive and then they moved it to PlayStation and they called them Sigma.
Oh god,
But they're essentially just re-releases of the same game. It's like playing multiple different versions of. It's like imagine if they renamed every version of RE4.
Yeah. Oh god, imagine that, dude. How many fucking names could come up with Resident Evil 4? Chat, if you guys can, I want to hear your guys' versions of Resident Evil 4 sub names. But I did like Ninja Gaiden. When it came on Xbox, but I liked it back in the NES days too. The only thing is it was so fucking hard. But me, and like you know where this is going, Alan. I cheated. And when you
I
cheat,
wonder
it makes
why
it-
you actually enjoyed playing those stupid fucking games.
Because I wasn't dying like you. Because I know
But that's
to
what the
make it
game was
fun.
designed to do. The game was designed to be as stupidly difficult as possible because the game actually didn't realize it had nothing else going on. Because you played the fucking Xbox version and the first boss kicked my ass a bunch of times. And I'm like, well, I'm a gamer. Like, I'll keep playing. 2 hours later, I'm like, I'm doing something wrong. I look up on GameFAQs because that's how fucking old I am and how old that game is. And
Apex
the first
still
thing
good
is,
to
this is
day,
the.
by the way. It's still great.
Is it still around?
Oh yeah, I used it recently for Pokemon League.
Reddit seemed to take that over, but it literally said this is the hardest boss in video game history. I'm like, oh, fucking great. So I'm just like, whatever. I somehow, after a couple hours, I somehow beat him by just fucking exploiting the fucking like level or whatever. Second boss, way worse because he spawns enemies. And I'm so frustrated at this point, the Mad Catz controller just shatters.
Fucking shit, dude.
And I was like, I'm never playing another one of these fucking games ever again. I'm like, I'm done. I'm fucking done.
Dude, I
You
know
need
I brought
to
this
step away from. You need to step away from electronics when you get mad.
No shit,
No,
dude. You
Mad
broke
Catz
a
is also
headset. You
trash.
broke tons of things. And the thing
I
is,
also
though,
will never
Damn,
bought
bro,
a-
you
I
need
also
anger
never
management
bought a
classes,
Mad
man. I fucking love you, Alan, but god damn.
no, you know what's
Matt,
funny though
yeah,
is
okay.
Ganja breaks shit, but out of calmness because he just fucked up his keyboard recently.
Yep, like a king.
Okay, but for people that like, yo, what the fuck? Does nobody remember the Mad Catz controller and those things being made out of like styrofoam?
I actually
Those
don't
controllers
remember
are garbage.
that. Yeah, I do not remember that shit at all. I know that like they're more expensive, like especially the ones that came out nowadays. The one with the orange tips. Is that the ones you're talking about?
No, this is like a clear plastic Xbox controller.
Oh,
so this
okay.
is way back in the day.
Well,
But
yeah,
yeah,
I know what you mean, but I've never been mad enough to where I fucking broke one in half.
I didn't know. I was like, oh, fuck. I was like, yo, okay, I'm never playing that fucking game again. And I never did. Then Ninja Gaiden 2 comes out for 360. I'm like, well, it can't be that bad, right? It's
Yeah.
okay for the first level, but the problem with the game is it doesn't have enough interesting ideas, so it just recycles the same boss. You fight the same boss in that game 4 times. Every boss you fight in that game, you fight multiple times. I don't even know what the fucking story is.
Yeah, and E-Mike, I would not be mad if they had Virgil from DMC in any game. I love Virgil. I think he's really, really cool. I think Devil May Cry is an awesome series with
maybe.
awesome characters. But this controller over here, the Mad Catz controller, I have seen that, dude, and we sold that shit for $3 at the game store I was working at.
I want to say which one it was. It looks like that one, but it's actually very similar to that one. So imagine it splitting right down the middle, me wholly playing it. I'm like,
Yeah.
fuck this game.
No, these are fucking cheap, dude. Yeah, the only reason why I even brought that up and even showed that is because I do want to show you guys that he ain't that stupid. He ain't breaking expensive fucking controllers, all right? Like, because those things are pieces of shit. But Ganja, I know I've asked you this before because this conversation has come up a few times. But when it comes to controllers, man, when's the time that you broke a controller? Because I can't imagine you doing that, especially with the patience you've kind of like grown with Superman. So yeah, man.
I've never broken a controller, but I have taken out a game and scratched the shit out of it and tossed it into the backyard.
Which one was this?
That was Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone.
Oh,
really?
no, you played the EA Harry Potter game.
It was the first one, and I got to the level, and I think it was designed this way so people could rent it more. But like, Anytime I tried to sneak to this dude, he saw me. I couldn't do anything. It was like the game was designed to push you towards this dude. And there was no game guys. There was no internet to help me.
This is bad. Yeah, this is back
By
before
the
games.
fifth attempt, I was like, man, fuck this game. And I ripped it out. I scratched the hell and I tossed it in the
He
backyard.
scratches like a cat, like.
Yeah, it's not scratching because I've gone to where I've just broken discs. I did that with Metal Gear Solid 5, where that was like it was only 2 times in my entire life have I ever broken a game disc. It was MGS5 and it was 50 Cent Blood on the Sand. One was out of anger and one was actually hilarious. I didn't think it would explode. The one for Metal Gear Solid 5, you gotta understand is the leading up to this is I saw the gameplay trailer like a year prior, and it looked amazing. I was like, this looks like a lot of fun. I like the horse. I like the open world. I don't know what Metal Gear is, so let me play the franchise. So went and played 1, 2, 3, Peace Walker, and 4. So I played the whole franchise. I didn't play the random spin-offs that aren't canon. I played the whole canonical franchise, and I was so excited. And I boot the game up. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? Yeah. It's like, we're just going to cut out 95% of the story. And the story we do have is fucking stupid. They retcon that helicopter explosion 6 times in the fucking story.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
Then once you get about halfway, you get this plot twist, which was really fucking stupid. And then the game goes, no more story, redo the whole game again on a harder difficulty before you get the secret ending. I took it out, smashed that shit, and tossed it, and never played it again.
Yeah, I told this story before about Einhander. I remember I was trying to play this game. And this game is really, really fun. It's for PlayStation 1. Fucking amazing. And thank you, myself, for liking the stream. Now, I don't know which one of you guys did that here, but thank you. But no, like, Einhander was an amazing, amazing game. But the problem is, though, is that the game is so insanely hard, but they have really good rewards at the end. So, like, went 2 down to the ground. Because, like, the screens, you think can go anywhere. But I guess when you touch the bottom of the screen, it counts.
Too low for Joe and got yeeted.
Dude, there wasn't even an enemy to fight. I just killed myself, and I had one more fucking enemy to beat. And I got so mad, I started crying, and I punched the PlayStation. And when I hit the open button, the disc flew out, and I grabbed it, and I just crushed it on my fucking knee. And my sister came in, and my sister went through hell, dude. She drove miles.
Yeah, these were like huge back in the day, so you could easily do that if you were small.
Yeah, dude. And my fucking sister was so pissed off, dude, because she never got to play it. She was busy working 2 jobs. She spent a ton of money because this game is already collector time, so it was like $80. And she comes home and is like, all right, I'm finally gonna play. What the fuck did you do? And just like, I'm sorry, I was trying to win.
The other time, which was out of just sheer boredom, I played 50 Cent Blood on the Sand. Now, for people that don't know the 50 Cent game universe, there was 50 Cent Bulletproof, which was a pretty good game. I actually genuinely enjoyed it. It was a cool third-person shooter, free roam game with 50 Cent, and then you had all the people like Dre and Eminem and people in the background in the game, and it was a lot of fun. So the sequel gets announced, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna be really cool. That game is such a major step down. From graphically, it looks terrible. It looks even worse than the first one. The gameplay is just repetitive discount Gears of War trash. Every single boss fight, and I don't mean this lightly, every single boss fight is in a helicopter. The boss just gets into a helicopter and just starts shooting you. So you're on the ground with like a machine gun, and you're just shooting them until it explodes. There's like 10 bosses in that game, and it's all in a fucking helicopter. And then right when you get to the end, one of the characters that your friend betrays you, and you go into a quick shootout. But just when you think you're gonna beat him, he jumps into a helicopter.
Yeah, I
took it.
Yeah, I didn't play those, dude, but like I'm telling you, I hate missions that are stuck like that. Like even tank control missions, like when you have to be in the tank and you gotta like do the same thing. Like, oh, dude, it's always the same fucking thing over and over again.
It's the worst. So as soon as I beat the game, I took it out and I threw it across the room. And my brother's on like the computer, actually the same desk I'm using, hit the side of the desk and exploded in confetti.
Jesus.
Like I started laughing. That's the most fun I have with that game.
You might say another game to piss him off was Drake and the 99 piece of shit Dragon Samurai Legend Mahashi. What the fuck? What kind of title is that fucking thing, dude? Like,
okay, it's actually called Drake and the 99 Dragons, and the rest of that subtitle is correct. This was a game back. I want to say it was an original Xbox game, and it was trying to be like a third-person, almost like a Path of Neo Matrix game, where you have dual guns and you're jumping up walls and shit. Mm-hmm. But the camera was so bad, it was so badly optimized that ended up being it was going down as one of the biggest piece of shit games ever made.
Oh, the Angry Video Gamer did this review of this game, I think.
Yeah.
And it was fucking ridiculous. Yeah, dude, like, and here's the thing, like, that still right here, that actually looks kind of nice. I'm
sure it could have been fun, but it's so badly controlled that nobody can get any fun out of it.
Oh, man, but yeah, I'm going back to the idea of Ganja just being so fucking mad over that Harry Potter game. Like, I'm looking at this screenshot over here and just imagine going through shit in this game and that guy right behind Harry Potter just like, hey, I'm gonna help you, buddy.
No, it's
just
worse. I had the character constantly repeat, "I'm gonna find you. I'm gonna find you." No.
Nah, there's a long history of the fucking Harry Potter EA games being garbage. That's why I'm glad the new one has nothing to do with EA or even J.K. Rowling for that matter.
But here's the thing. So we're having a good time, but I think we've been doing the show long enough now that it's time to ruin it. I gotta make sure it just ruined the fun and start pissing people off. So, Alan.
Welcome to the chat attack.
Alan, I'm gonna ask you really quick, sir.
Oh,
Before we continue on, you Mike saying hashtag Gotcha hates Harry Potter games? Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, almost all of them are terrible. I don't think there's a single good one, except for maybe the Lego ones.
And there's one coming out soon, so you never know.
I can't wait.
And if we don't read many bits right here, it's just because I'm trying to keep everything so small with the highlight things. But E-Mikes, keep sending them bits, and I'll definitely go back and actually read what you asked me. But over here, though, Alan, I don't know how you're feeling right now, but it's been a couple days removed from a particular event that happened on Thursday, and I just hope you're okay. But this is a game of the year, man. I mean, it's official. You can't argue.
It's not Christopher Nolan.
Christopher Nolan didn't vote this.
Twice this year. Like, seriously.
He didn't choose it. He just read the shit.
He was there. He was by association.
So, yeah, guys, we would talk about the entire Game Awards and blah, 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 but here's the thing. Lots of those fucking things that they even put out there, half the games didn't even come out this year, blah, blah, blah. I'm happy for Among Us. Whatever. Let's move on from that. We're just talking about Game of the Year here. Now, I want to go around the board because I know, Alan, you're going to take most of this, but I just got to say, Jet, how are you feeling about this? Because obviously you didn't play the game, but you knew ahead of time, too, that this was just kind of like bullshit.
Oh yeah, like this is the only game where it's had like out of all of the what are the games that have been nominated for best of the year, this is the only one that got major fucking complaints. Well, maybe Doom Eternal.
Not as bad though.
Not as bad. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, so it's just kind of like okay, then it probably should have went to Ghost or like Final Fantasy. Because even Animal Crossing's only gotten positive reception, but we all knew that wasn't probably gonna win. It would be nice, but we all knew.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's the biggest thing about this too is like I'm totally for this winning like action adventure or not. No, actually, fuck that. No, that should have been Ghost of Tsushima. But like voice acting, story, I get that. But Game of the Year, dude, I think it's fucking horrible that this was even.
It also doesn't help that it kind of swept the awards too, to where it's just like. Did it really need to win 8 out of the 10 major awards? That just doesn't seem realistic to me.
Yeah, it reminded me of La La Land. Like how that swooped the entire thing, and then like people were kind of mad for a second. I mean, granted, Moonlight won, but like just hearing and La La Land, I was like, oh fuck you, dude. And then like this kind of did it, but there was no like, oh, we meant Ghost of Tsushima. Like I bet like that's what fucking Alan wanted. Thank you for following Lost Miracle. Really appreciate that. But like Ganja, I'm gonna ask you really quick, man. I know that you played. I think you played the first Last of Us, but like, what was your thing that kept you from playing this new one? By the way.
Honestly, I do have the PlayStation. I could have got it on the previous console, but like, I just never was interested into the Last of Us story. It just felt like a very generic kind of zombie story. Anytime Alan has described it, I was really not interested in playing it at all because he's kind of was like, oh, the gameplay's fine, but if you're not really into the gameplay or the story that's going on, if you haven't seen a zombie movie or any kind of zombie property in a while, you'll appreciate it. But other than that, it's just run of the mill. And after my disappointment with the other zombie game, the one where you had the character with the motorcycle and shit, I kind of was very to that. Then you had all the information I released, and then everyone turned this into a whole political thing. And I was already on the fence with it already, so I was just like, man, I'm just gonna stay away from this shit.
Yeah, because my biggest thing about this too is just like I feel like they put so much stuff into the story to the point where like every single thing that happens here, it's like, oh, context, the first game, what they're going through, the lesbian aspect of it, this, that, and the other. It's like, dude, at one point you guys gotta prioritize the actual gameplay of the fucking video game, and that was a big thing that kind of bothered me. But Alan, I remember you said something about how long you've actually played this and it not having an effect on you. Why don't you tell the people how many hours you put into this and what you felt after playing it?
Okay. If you go to howlongtobeat.com and you put in Resident Evil 7, you can beat Resident Evil 7 in about 5.5 to 6 hours. Mm-hmm. That's the amount of time I put into this game. So I don't want any motherfucker to tell me that I've not put enough possible hours into this fucking game. 6 fucking hours seems to be plenty for a game that this length. This game should not be 25 fucking hours. Because if you look at the first one's 15 fucking hours. That is a perfect length for a linear game. Because you have just enough time to get used to the characters, you have interesting varied levels, and you have a story that goes from start to finish. I think The Last of Us one is incredibly generic, but it's because it's a video game that spends more than 40 seconds in its cutscenes. People just liked it because apparently gamers never played Metal Gear Solid before and don't know how fucking story is told. Like, the entirety of the hype of The Last of Us, I think, just comes from the fact that Naughty Dog made it, and Naughty Dog makes overrated games all the time. The Uncharted series is really, really bad. It's not even good to play. Fuck you.
Yeah.
So this comes out, and it's like, Last of Us 1 comes out in the peak of zombie stuff. Walking Dead just came. Walking Dead's been out. Left 4 Dead. Call of Duty Zombies, Red Dead, Undead Nightmare, and Last of Us comes out. So this is the peak of zombie games, and it was in there. And people are like, oh my god, it's such a heart-wrenching story. If you've never watched a zombie movie, or if you've never played any other video games before, or if this is your first game you've ever played, yeah, it's a heart-wrenching story. Is it a good story? Sure. It's a solid 7 out of 10. But its sweeping was ridiculous. So the second one comes out, and I looked at the gameplay, I'm like, that looks really cool. I like the gameplay of the first one. I'll play this one. And this is just the most cut, dry revenge story in the fucking world. Character gets offed, so now I must go and I gotta save them. But am I gonna be more evil than the people that fucking killed them? Maybe, I don't know. It's a game that thinks it's smarter than it is. It's a game that sits there and be like, you gotta analyze it and look at all this subtext and meaning, even though most of it isn't there. And it's just stuff that people fucking put onto it because at the end of the day, it's a generic ass fucking revenge story that's set as zombie apocalypse. The characters have no fucking nuance. It's just anger here or anger there. But because it's a female main character, suddenly it looks kind of different. But because it's a female character, they have to nerf her because you play Last of Us 1 and you're able to get through you're able to fight, you're able to do all sorts of cool shit. And even in the first one, Ellie is pretty capable. This one, you feel weaker for no fucking reason other than, it has to be harder to kill, right? For some fucking stupid reason. And the voice acting, as top-notch as it is, the lines of dialogue are complete trash. The voice direction is something that we need to talk about. Because as much as the voice acting is top-notch, half the dialogue at the start of the game is, well, Abby, I think we need to, go do this. Oh, hi, Dinah, I'm your best friend, or whatever. It's just so like we're trying to be a book or television show that you're just kind of going, what the fuck?
It feels like it's padded for seasons. Like, are we doing this? And then like episode 3 is when shit's actually gonna happen. Like that's what it feels like. Like everything's still chapter based. When it's really not, by the way, too. You play the game and it's like it feels linear as far as like when the missions progress into like, okay, now I'm doing mission 2, blah blah blah. Yeah. But like it feels so stiff. like
and it's very stiff. But the thing is, I like stiff stuff. In my ass. Anyway, I love the opening of Red Dead.
You like the opening and stiff stuff?
We're not gonna move on from that, dog. You fucked up.
So how hard do you like it, or stiff, if you will?
I will fuck all of you.
I like it long.
That's the problem here, man. You stay stiff.
Any fucking way. Red Dead Redemption has it takes 3 hours before the game gets to mostly where it's going. But in that 3 hours, it gives you a lot of stuff to do there. It's really interesting. It's a great setup to shut the fuck up. It's a great setup to do the rest of the game. Last of Us 2 never gets anywhere. And again, 6 fucking hours. If you wanted to do a fucking percentage, that's a quarter of the game that I played. And the reason it's 25 hours is because there's a sequence about halfway through in which you have to fucking go into the quote-unquote fake open world in which you got to do the fucking generators, aka the worst part of the last game, but you have to do the exact same thing of, I got to start this generator that hasn't been around for 30 fucking years. What do? Well, climb over this thing and do that and do this. It's the Arkham Knight problem of, we got to get this stupid fucking horse everywhere. So instead of climbing and walking, we have to fucking open all these fucking gates in order to get a stupid fucking horse in. And it's just infuriatingly boring. Because the dialogue, there's no sense of urgency except for when the cutscene happens, and then suddenly Ellie becomes a psychopathic murderer. But then she goes back and goes, "I'm sorry, I kind of lost my cool." It's like, bro, pick a fucking emotion.
Yeah, that's another thing too. It's like, pick an emotion, but then at the same time too, thank you for clipping that. Thank you for clipping that.
I was like, who's the one that always gets the clips?
Welcome back, Alan.
Sorry. Oh man, I gotta snap out of that shit. Oh, because I swear to God, that's so funny. I might actually just laugh this entire show over that one fucking thing. So I'm trying to keep it together.
And I'll end this here with 2 statements. One,
I like
Miles Morales. I will kill you where you stand. Miles Morales Spider-Man is a way better story, a way better sequel, and has way better emotion than Last of Us pretends to do. And second of all, I think The Last of Us is the worst game of the year because the year's almost done, and I can't think of a single game that I had a worse time playing. Yeah. I played Watch Dogs for like 4 hours and just stopped because that game is functionally a piece of shit. Everything about it is bad, but The Last of Us is polished to perfection. There's not a single sound issue, graphical glitch, crashing, whatever. That game is polished to a mere finish, and it is terrible. So when it gets bad, people are like, why aren't you mad at this? Why aren't you mad at that? Because I'm mad when video games are perfect and terrible. The Last of Us should be good, but it is bad in every single conceivable fashion. So that's why, to me, it is my worst game of the year, because it pisses me off, and it has nothing to do with the quality of the game.
Yeah, and let me see. I guess the chat wasn't moving, but I just fixed it right now. But the thing is, though, is like, yeah, and by the way, you Mike, we're definitely going to be talking about Arc 2 in a minute, because holy shit, that was amazing. But that's the biggest thing about this Game Awards thing that was annoying to me in the first place, is the fact that it just became a world premiere fest. And not saying that I'm complaining about that. I love that it was a world premiere fest, because I love all the premieres. But at the same time, you look at something like this, and I'm like, wow, you guys have completely made your award system look like shit, because now we're always going to come back to this and say, wow, based on this system and the people that are in charge of voting these particular games, they consider this fucking thing better than Hades, better than Ghost of Tsushima, better than Animal fucking Crossing. And by the way, if it wasn't this game, you know what another option was? Fucking Doom Eternal. It's like, dude, if you don't have enough games to put up on there to be potentially the best of the year, then don't fucking put 5 options. It's okay to have 3, or am I wrong for that? Is that stupid to think?
I think 5 is pretty good. It gives you, because they usually do about 4 AAA games and 1 indie. I don't want to say last year, but it was there was a year prior. Oh yeah, it was 2018. And I'll remember this because I couldn't choose. It was Red Dead, God of War, Spider-Man, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and Celeste. So they usually go 4 AAA games and then 1 indie just to kind of have some variation. This year's indie was Hades, which I think Hades has better voice direction and better world building than The Last of Us 2 does.
Yeah, no, I actually definitely agree with that. But like moving on from this, you know, and I just did an ad, so for those of you that are not subscribed, I'm sorry, but we'll come back and talk to you guys in a minute. But the thing is about the Game Awards, Arc 2. Now, one thing I really liked about this is the idea that at first you and me, Alan, really had no idea. We made so many guesses. What this
the first guess, and I will take this as pride. The first guess going, oh hey, Arc 2 looks because you said Horizon Zero Dawn 2.5. And I'm like, Arc 2 looks great.
No, you know what? I actually thought this was Forbidden West, and they're like announcing that Vin Diesel is gonna be a voice actor on Horizon Zero Dawn 2. I was like, oh shit, man, Forbidden West is gonna be cool. And the fact that it was Arc 2, and when you said that, I was like, oh, real funny, Alan. I'll put this out here. I always make fun of Alan saying shit that he's wrong, but no, I was making fun of Alan like, just because it's dinosaurs, bro, you fucking dummy. Alan was right. So, really,
and the thing cool. is Nick was really hyped because he likes dinosaurs and stuff. It looked cool, but something that really bothered me, and I was like, dude, the animations look terrible when the characters are walking. Did somebody follow us or like? Does it do dancing in the corner?
Much. Yeah, thank you very much, Gary, for hosting us and for sharing the stream too on Facebook, dude. I really appreciate that. We're trying to build Facebook as much as we can. So, but yeah, dude, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say. So I was noticing. I'm like, the hit animations look very. They're very stilted and stiff, and they look bad. I was like, but you guys were enjoying it, so I didn't want to be like, hey, this isn't perfection. Like, I don't want to be that guy. But then when I hit Arc 2, I'm like, oh, that's why. Because Arc 2 is animations for hitting stuff. When you're watching somebody else fight something, it does look really bad. But when you're doing it yourself, you don't notice it. So I was like, oh, that makes a lot of sense, it being Arc 2. And apparently a lot of this is in-engine, quote-unquote. It's most likely using the same app. I doubt it's going to play like this. But it being that, I'm like, oh, that's actually pretty interesting that it's within engine. That explains why the animations are as stiff and wonky. Because when you're watching a player fight in there, it's very stiff and wonky. But I ended it because, again, I don't want to be the guy that's shitting on what people like. I can't think right off the top of my head what Arc 2 could be. Because it's a Minecraft 2 situation of, well, what are you going to do in a sequel to Minecraft that you can't just put into regular Minecraft?
Yeah, but at the same time, and this is what something I want. Actually, before you even continue on, Ganja, what do you expect of an Arc 2? Because, like, you are a huge Arc fan. You got me into Arc. You put me on that shit, you fucking drug dealer.
Yeah, I can't wait to that, baby. I got that pipe. You gotta hit that. Come on, Mr. Diaz, smoke this shit with me, brother.
Okay,
is that what the Arc is?
So now you should get 2 more people, and so we can get this game running, and we can get a tribe going. It's gonna be great, brother. It's gonna be great. See, 90s already strung out over here in the corner. 90s. Oh shit, you don't need it. Nah, but for real though. What do I want out of Arc 2?
Yeah,
The
because
problem
that's a
with
good question.
really asking for anything of Ark is they kind of stuffed that first game with a lot of fucking content that necessarily they didn't plan on, or they just added on later on because they feel like, oh, it's cool, or it adds to a lore that people are inventing now. We got to catch up with this invention of a lore. But one of the things that I'm really interested in is what kind of graphics they're going to do, because one of the big attractions to Arc One was at the time that it was pretty much the crisis of the time.
Yeah.
That if you really want to see if your computer can handle like some really top notch graphics and like Minecraft esque type of pixels and polygons on the screen at the same time, you really had to just try it out on Arc. But other than that, it was like the first time a real like massive multiplayer on the level of Minecraft that where the point was to fuck with each other or try to live in this like very hostile environment that wasn't just based around like a couple creatures, but like actual like evolution and like animals versus animals and different type of prey that are specifically attacking certain types of animals and they hunt those certain type of animals and sometimes they'll hunt you if you're in their way. I think a lot of those things, a lot of the mechanics such as like leveling up and a lot of the crafting system, I do like to see a stronger builder be done. If there's one request I could make for Arc 2 is a much stronger builder, something that can do hold more grand designs.
Kind of like the one in Rust.
The one in Rust as well as the one in Conan Barbarian. I know Nick doesn't
Actually,
like
I
it, but the
agree
Conan
with you.
Barbarian building is a lot better compared to the Arc one.
I
Yeah.
disagree. I actually, because I played both Rust and Conan, I think that out of those three games, Ark has the best builder. I think
I
that
think Rust is
Rust
pretty
is
good, but I mean, I see your point too, though, because I'm used to Arc as well, and I think it's very simplistic. Rust is too confusing, but I feel if we got the hang of it, Rust would be so much fun.
no, my problem with Rust is okay. So the reason I think that Ark has the best builder over both Conan and Rust, sorry, that Ark has the best building over those two games is Conan has this stupid thing where you can't build over a spawn point. So when you're building a house, it has random holes in it. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck's going on? Rust is so obtuse to figure out how to start building, and also gathering materials is really, it's really obtuse sometimes to figure out what you actually need to build basic stuff. That with Arc, it's very close to Minecraft, so it's very simplistic, but there's a lot of depth to it. Like there are stuff that I wish you could do and the clipping issues that they could easily fix. But the simplistic nature of it, that hey, how do I build this wood thing? Oh, I just punch wood or whatever. And it makes sense. Like, hey, I get a certain amount of wood per different types of and what's it called? Certain types of weapons. There's complexity in it, but I just think it's way more intuitive.
I would like to see a balancing of the combat as well as the multiplayer stuff. Anti-cheat stuff really got to be the focus of this next one, because one of the things that really pissed me off, and this is something if you guys don't know, if you do play Arc with us, it would more likely be in our own custom server, because having to deal with the public server, and it's not even just because of regular griefers, people deal with that Grand Theft Auto and Red Dead all the time. The main issue is you have a lot of hackers and cheaters that have found a way around Battle.net, and it has really caused a big break in between like what you're able to do in the game, and not to mention like they don't balance the game if like some tribe has become the most powerful one there, and if they're just a tribe full of trolls, that you basically have a dead server.
Yeah,
it became a grieving problem, and I honestly wouldn't mind because I think that Rust has a really good combat system. But the reason we stopped playing Rust and didn't play is because it resets the server every week or 2 weeks. So it doesn't matter how cool you build the stuff; eventually it'll just go away. Arc doesn't have that problem. But I think that some of the combat, it would be better if the combat was a bit more nuanced. I think they could easily do that. But one of the things that it's better than, I want to say that I enjoy a little bit more than Minecraft. Minecraft, you can do a lot of cool stuff with, and it's just a builder at heart. With Ark, it's a survival game. So it's not just about building. You have to actually like find a way to survive in this really harsh world. And I think that makes it a lot of fun because it gives you a reason to build. You build in order to survive against these dinosaur attacks, and you have to make food in order to survive because you starve all the fucking time. So there's so many things you can do in this world that it's a lot of fun, and it's very different than Minecraft because it has a lot more.
I don't want taming to be so easy either.
Yeah. Well, I think it's already too fucking hard though. That shit drives me fucking crazy.
No, it's hard, but it's not too hard. Here's the thing. The reason it's hard is if you're in like maybe a tribe of 1 to 5 people, it's kind of difficult because you're protecting yourself from other tribes of that number. But once you get up to like a tribe that has like 10 people or even has like 5 like high level characters in it, because of the high level things you're able to build, you can easily take like 5 people and control a server as soon as you're able to start making the dino stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah,
it should be hard to tame them and hard to kill them.
Yeah, no, and I guess I can agree with that to a certain extent because no matter what, the taming has to be changed somewhere. I mean, when we make our own server, I actually change the taming myself because the way the game has it, it's fucking just too much. It's like it literally you can't even play the game because you're too busy watching a sleeping dinosaur. You know what I mean? It's like, come on, dude. But the biggest thing that oh, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. No, you finish.
No, because I was going to ask Jet really quick because I know I know how us three are. We're going to say all the particular things. So I'm going to ask Jet before we run out of options. Jet, is there anything that we haven't mentioned that you feel like they should add with Arc 2?
As long as they have the the dinosaurs that I fucking want in there, I don't care how they do the game. And also, they fix a lot of the glitches too, because in regular Arc, there's nothing but fucking glitches.
It's still
it's so bad that like animals like come into your shit and like destroy stuff and kill you.
I want to point out that Ganja nailed the comparison perfectly because Arc is Crisis, and for people that don't remember and don't even know where the joke "Can I Run Crisis" come from, is Crisis was a very high fidelity, high graphic first person shooter that was pivoted as this is what you'd use to test your PC out. But the reason why it was so hard to run was not because the game looked good, but because it was so poorly optimized that there was no way to actually run it properly on any rig. You could not get a stable frame rate, not because the game looked pretty, because honestly, even at the time, it didn't really even look that much better. It's just you could never get a solid frame rate because it was a single core game. And even at the time when dual core was a thing and games could use multiple cores to share the stress, it didn't. So it was badly optimized. Arc is also very badly optimized. Like, I can run it now, but that game is so old that the fucking, if you go and you set it to, the different fidelities, like, high, medium, ultra, it literally has Epic as the Titan X. That is the old NVIDIA card from, I think, when the GTX 1070s were around. So that was like 6 years ago. That was the peak of that. So I can do it now, 6 years after the fucking fact with an equivalent video card. And it still doesn't have to maintain a solid frame rate. And that's not even counting the random bullshit that happens.
Now, people in the chat were asking really quick, which one is Jet's favorite? I'm going to guess really quick, Jet. Let me know if I'm right. But it's either the Dimorphodon, or the Morphodon, whatever the fuck it is, that little bat thingy, or it's the Pelaganus. Or Pelagornis, whatever the fuck it's called.
You're right the first time, the Dimorphodon.
Yeah, because here's the thing, guys, and this is probably something they could probably fix as well, but, Jet walks around like she's a witch lady. She has, 50 of these fucking things surrounding her. Yeah, it's scary as fuck. Because, if anyone even touches her, those fucking things are going to attack and rip it apart. It's amazing.
Yeah, that happened to me, actually. I think I tried to attack one of the people I was in a tribe and then got murdered by all the fucking dinosaurs.
Yeah. Hundum.
I call them the meme team.
The mean team, man. Matt Hundum, by the way, is going to find out who the real mean team is. Keeps getting you Roxy confused. They're both going to beat your ass.
He's just trying to get attention. He knows which one's talking.
But something Nick said earlier about how do you play the game? You got to stare at you got to stare at a fucking taming animal. One of the things I like about Arc is, and I was telling this to a buddy of ours that was getting started, and he's like, "What should I do?" I'm like, "You have so many different variation of choices in the game." That just pick what you enjoy. Me, I'm a builder. I love building stuff. So when I'm looking for Arc 2, I just want it so that it's a little bit easier to build multiple story structures. I want elevators. I want you to put an elevator in this. I want a situation where I could build an elevator shaft and I could build multiple floors.
Well, an elevator
and then ride the shaft all the way down. Oh! You motherfuckers are laughing, and I already know where you're going.
I didn't know. Until you said
bullshit! That. I heard you chuckling.
I see you. I don't know. They're riding that shaft all the way down.
Why do you gotta do this, Alan?
I do you because you two are children. I literally can't say wood in the game because you two motherfuckers laugh. I swear to God, I'm dealing with a bunch of 4-year-olds.
A nice stiff elevator made out of wood that you said.
Any fucking way.
God.
I want an actual.
He's gonna ride that shaft all the way down, right, Alan?
What I like to do is I like to build multiple floors. I'm talking over you two stupid motherfuckers. But one of the things I like to do is I like to build multiple floors. I like to build really big, really big houses and stuff. And what I always wanted, especially in Minecraft, because Minecraft never did this, is I want to build like a 10-floor structure, but I want to go up the stairs the whole time. So I want to build something with an elevator that you could stop at multiple floors and actually maybe have electricity be more of a thing. Because right now it's everything kind of runs on gas. But I would love a redstone system almost.
Yeah,
different
cool. No, like because if Minecraft can do it, it can do this as well. And speaking of Minecraft, because you brought that up a couple times, and people, we're not just Minecraft super nerds about this shit. Like, there's a lot of what Minecraft has done that Ark is doing too. And on that note, why can't Ark let you fucking crack the surface? Like, I want to mine. Yeah. I want to go down. I want to fucking.
He wants to go down on Ark.
Oh.
This is the Ark Appreciation podcast.
This is unfortunate.
Oh, I see you guys going.
See how difficult it is when you're working with children?
Sorry.
So where you're going down, down, down.
Oh, I can't wait till Ganja says that shit. Goddamn fucking asshole. But no,
yeah,
but
Ruthless. I know Conan has elevators, but that would mean I have to play Conan. I'm good.
No, Ark. The first one has elevators. It's just you haven't unlocked it yet because you don't play to it.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, it has a shaft. It has a big, large penis. Everything you want to have. It's all in there.
Yeah, right up my ass. Yeah. Fuck it, why hide it anymore? Like,
wait, you want things up your ass? You're not hiding no more.
I fucking love the way he said that too. Yeah, right.
Anyway,
yeah.
But that's one of the things. Like, I want to build multiple floors, and to me, building is always something that goes towards me. Nick likes to fight dinosaurs and stuff, so he puts all of his points into attack. Ganja and one of our buddies, 90s, they love to explore, so everything that they put points into, because this game is unlike Minecraft, it's an RPG as well. So you level up by doing everything from mining, gathering, fighting, and you get to put points into your weight, your health, your attack, crafting skill, all this stuff. So it's an RPG as well. The best way to describe it for people is it's Dark Souls meets Minecraft.
Yeah. Yeah, that's actually a really good way to describe it. But I will say, though, because we'll jump off with this whole Ark 2 thing, but all I want to say to people, though, is like give Ark a chance. I do think that they have so many options now where you can get into it with a smaller computer. I know that one of our buddies, once again, is in their server. His name's Trey. He tells us all the time. He's like, I got a $320 computer and it works fine for me. It's like, great. I spent $4,000 and I didn't run it well at all. Wait, well, a long time ago. So fuck you.
I spent $2,000 this year and it finally runs well.
Yeah, so hey, it depends on how and where you get your parts, I guess. But the thing is, though, man, is this was a cool moment for me. We already talked about the Smash thing, but do you feel like there's anything really missing from the Game Awards? Or you're like, wait, why didn't we?
I am so glad you brought that up. So the Game Awards marks the 3-year anniversary in which Bayonetta 3 was announced, and literally no information has come out since.
Yeah. How much can we say that that's because of the fucking Corona, whatever? I mean, is that even?
Who knows? Corona only happened this year. There's still 2 years of nothing. There's not been a single thing. The thing is, Nintendo's always very quiet when it comes to their games. They don't like to sit there and do the E3 kind of hype train too much. They like to get a game ready, and once it's almost ready to be released, then they start showing you the 10-15 minutes during the treehouse. Bayonetta 3 got announced at a Game Awards 3 years ago. It was 2017. I think it was it the year that fucking Breath of the Wild one? No, it was the year prior. Anyway, point is, they announced it there and nothing for 3 years. That's a development time for a game, which means there's some issues in the background where they are not getting it right, where it's like, what the fuck is going on? Because it's usually about 3 years to develop a game, and the E3 press cycle for a video game is you announce it with a teaser the first year. Year 2, you do a 10 to 15 minute gameplay at the start of a conference, Microsoft or Sony, depending on who paid more. And then you announce it for the next year. So it's 3 years between the first time you see it to when it's announced. Spider-Man PS4 did that. It got a teaser, it got gameplay, and then it got released. That's usually how it goes. Sometimes games come out the same year they're released, but it's not that common. There's been literally nothing. So you want to know what's missing? Where the fuck is Bayonetta 3?
Yeah. And that actually is a good question. I don't know if Capcom does it, but I feel like either they do that or Devil May Cry. So am I right, though? Did they do Bayonetta or no?
No, the same guys. I think the guy that made Devil May Cry went to make Bayonetta.
Okay, cool. That makes sense. But I feel like Capcom is missing too for a different reason. And hopefully I didn't steal Ganja's answer, but I think he's gonna agree with me on this. Where the fuck was Resident Evil Outbreak? I feel like that should have been discussed.
That should have not been at all.
Yeah, dude. So if you guys don't know, Resident Evil Outbreak was basically a game that told the story of what the non-main characters are doing in between Resident Evil 2 and 3. which was a really, really cool game way back in the day. I thought it was kind of cool. Granted, it had so many issues, but keep in mind, people, it was hooking up a PS2 to the fucking internet, and it was trying to do all that shit. That was not something that was kind of normal back then. But it was announced, especially during the leaks from Capcom, that it's being remade currently right now with the current engines of Resident Evil 2 and 3. And basically what they're going to be doing with the new Resident Evil Outbreak is that's going to be basically what the Resident Evil 2 and 3 remake was going to be. Because I don't know if you guys know this, and I always reiterate this when we bring up Resident Evil, but the 2 and 3 remake that came out in the last 2 years was supposed to be one package. And they were like, damn, people are so excited, let's split them up and make a shit ton of profit for giving them one game and a half. You know what I mean? And granted, that half game, Resident Evil 3, I fucking love. But it is a half game, and it's not worth $60 and they make sure to put it out there constantly to keep.
And I never paid $60 because I did not like Resident Evil 2 remake. So why am I paying for another one?
Yeah, exactly. And I wish I would have listened to you, but at the same time, I did like Resident Evil 3. So blah blah blah. But I mean, I was with you on the Resident Evil 2 thing. I think the game was way overhyped. But on this too, just to get rid of my Resident Evil nerdum out of the way and just talk about what makes sense for the industry. Weren't they supposed to be coming out Resident Evil 8 like super soon? That's
what I was also wondering, because Resident Evil 8 is supposed to be slated for 2021, and I'm like, where's RE8? Because I actually recently beat Resident Evil 7, and the first time I played Resident Evil 7, it was terrifying, and there was so much atmospheric tension, and I loved it. It was my favorite game that year. Replaying it, I'm like, I can see how empty the world is when you get rid of all the enemies, because when you beat the boss, all the enemies in the particular level, because there's 3 levels. There's the house, there's the like outback area, and then there's like this weird like saw area. It's kind of weird. But as soon as you beat the enemies in the area, the boss in the area, the enemies go, and you see how empty the game is, where it's just not that scary anymore once you kind of realize what's happening. And I can tell that this is a tech demo basically for what the system's going to be, and I can't wait to see what they're going to do now that it's like, hey, we built a full game in this engine now. But they didn't show anything. I really have not seen any gameplay of RE8 at all, and it's supposed to be coming out soon.
Yeah, like really soon. And I mean, apparently,
or better yet, what about Far Cry 6? It's supposed to be slated for 3 months from now.
Yeah, that's another thing. That's a huge thing. And by the way, like speaking
of, and where the fuck is the Big Mama's House reboot?
In the trash, where it belongs, like the other two.
But with Far Cry, like, and I don't know if I'm gonna be aiming my hatred in the right spot here, but like with Ubisoft, they kind of fucked up with Watch Dogs Legion as well, and that's correct, right? They handle the whole Watch Dogs series.
Oh yeah, dude, and honestly, man, they don't know what the fuck they're doing with the Watch Dogs series. Like, almost every one of them is just not that good. I like the first one, but there are a lot of problems. The second one improves upon it, a lot of problems. The third one, I swear to God, please somebody, I'm begging the video game industry, make the idea that you play as multiple NPCs with permadeath good. No game has ever made it work. Yes, State of Decay 1 didn't make it work. State of Decay 2 improves upon it, but still doesn't work. Zombie U, for the 5 people that fucking remember that game, didn't fucking work because it wasn't interesting.
Fire Emblem works.
Oh, really? Okay. Maybe that's the only one that actually fucking works. Watchdog Legion, it is fucking terrible. No game series has ever gone to working. I'll try the Fire Emblem one at some point, but it's a cool idea, but nobody ever gets it.
Yeah, and it really sucks because I really do think that this was going to be a really, cool game, a cool concept. And sometimes the concept is good enough for you to even just try and purchase something, blah, blah, blah. But,
yeah,
it is
what terrible.
But the thing is, though, is like, yeah, like that they mishandled that and they're mishandling this Far Cry 6 thing because, in my opinion, Far Cry 6 should be the 2021 version of Cyberpunk where they just keep saying, it'll come out. Just leave us alone. When it's done, it'll come out.
It should take a while because I think Far Cry 5 is one of the biggest letdowns, and I played New Dawn. New Dawn was one of the shittiest DLC add-ons I've ever seen to a game, mostly because it was way worse than the game it came off of, and Far Cry 5 wasn't that good anyway. It was a fucking diluted version of what made the series interesting, and the only good thing to really come out of 5 was the character. It was the fucking map maker, which basically just boots you to a version of Amaya where you can literally like do everything. It's really cool, the stuff you could do with the map maker, but the game itself was really not that good. The shooting wasn't that good. The speed kill system was a major step down. If you're gonna take your time with Far Cry 6, I don't mind, but I've literally not seen I've seen gameplay images, but I've literally not seen more than a second of gameplay.
Yeah, so I mean, we'll see what happens with that. But moving on, and it's moving on somewhat. But the thing is, I just want to get at least one of our main topics out of the way, and this is going to be the big thing. I'm going to stick to gaming, and once again, I'm sorry, guys. This might piss people off. Okay, I'm sorry, but
We're talking about Watch Dogs Legion again.
this is a big game that basically everyone's been talking about. And the big question I keep seeing is the same old, was it worth it? Was the wait worth it? And no. All right, like nothing is worth waiting for multiple release dates, bad fucking launches, glitchy software, terrible versions of capable tech, inflated, unwisely directed purchasing of talent for the sole purpose of garnering attention. So, for this review,
Wow, that was a really good idea headline you read.
but the thing is, no, because that's literally what it is. And
I know I'm fucking with you, but the way you said it sounded like a fucking headline to an article because it's really well spoken. Like that's kind of a compliment.
But my whole thing about this is just kind of like with all those issues that I mean I'm not stupid, guys. I know that this is all kind of like not based around what the game actually is. So let's just throw all that shit out the fucking way, okay? Like let's just say it's 2002 again, and when games come out, they work. You put it in. You don't wait 3 hours to play something. You don't get kicked off whatever an animate object or whenever an inanimate object tells you to fucking get off. Because that's the thing too. Like Steam's constantly like, oh, we gotta do an update. Oh, you didn't install this, but I was just playing it. How the fuck I didn't install it? It's like whatever, dude. Let's just pretend this world is not what it is, and is the game good? And in my opinion, I do think that it's probably more than good. It's even close to great. But before I even decide to even, go into my officialization of whether this is a high rating or low rating, I gotta get your opinion, dude, because you've barely talked to me about this.
Honestly, and one of the reasons is, and Cedric knows this personally because he like tagged me in something earlier. I'm like, dude, I just got there. I haven't had a lot of time to play the game because of between the podcasting and my regular job. I don't have as much time as I used to. So Friday, I spent like 7 hours straight playing the game. So I finally got a chance to really get my teeth into it. I think this game is fucking incredible. I think that it's one of those situations where I'm really glad that the CD Projekt Red did it because they're the only developers currently working right now that I think they would take a first-person shooter and actually give it the time of day that I haven't seen since Fallout 3. Like Fallout 3 in New Vegas. I haven't seen a developer with an FPS game actually put so much effort into just how the dialogue works, the different dialogue options. How the everything with the immersion stuff, the phone calls, like the fact that characters will just call you and they'll be in the corner while you're doing stuff. The inventory system is unbelievably trash. I'll get into that a little bit later. But I love the combat. I love that it's like when you're shooting, it's not just enemies standing in the middle going shoot me. They're hiding behind cover. They have powers. They'll try to influence your tech somehow. At one point, I was shooting a dude and he jumped 30 feet onto a different level to get better cover. Like the enemies are actually incredibly intelligent. It's stupidly difficult in some cases because it wants you to actually do some exploration to get a lot of money so that you can actually start upgrading your dude. And this game has 2 versions of that system. You have the typical, hey, I leveled up, so put points into strength, skill, will. But then you have, and I discovered this randomly. I went to the Ripper Doctors. And I was like, oh, I didn't really understand this the first time I did it, so what is this? And they're like, oh, yeah, you want to put something in your circuitry system? That just gave you health regen. I'm like, what? I just bought health regen? That's fucking awesome. What else do I do? Oh, I need more, points. I need more street cred. Well, how do I get street cred? You have to go solve more crimes. I'm like, oh, those are really fun because they're on the way, and I get a quick fight. So I would go and do that, and I had $20,000, $30,000. I'm like, what am I going to do with all this money? Oh, all of the tech you build? Or the tech you buy is expensive, so it makes it worth it. So you have the balance between buying your ammo, buying your armor, but then also upgrading yourself and then leveling up. And I'm like, there's so many different systems that I'm still discovering stuff. The story is spectacular. So it's like, I have problems with this game. Don't get me wrong. And I'll let Ganja because he has other stuff too, and everyone else. But right now, this is a solid 8 out of 10.
Yeah, and I'm really surprised. And keep in mind, people, this is first impression, so if things do change and Alan has a different score later on when we fully review this, don't hold it against him. I mean, there's a lot of games to impact.
Right now, I think I don't want to spoil it too much, but I'm at the second act. It got Act 2 splash screen. As I'm literally just started there, short of it being the worst game I've ever played, I doubt my rating will change.
Yeah, but Jet, I'm going to ask you, then I'll go into Ganja, but Jet, what are your thoughts on this? Like, if someone had to ask you just right away, is it good or bad? Was it worth it? What would you say in response to that?
I would say they can definitely wait to play this game, but for me in general, I've had a lot of fun with it. The only reason why I say they can wait to play it is because, it is incredibly fucking glitchy. At first it was just maybe a couple of glitches here and there, but then it got to a point where it's just oh man, I have to optimize my settings to even play this game. And I'm playing on a pretty good graphics card too.
Yeah.
So it's just like, no, you don't really have to rush out to play this, but if you do later, when everything's fine, you'll actually get a lot out of it, because like the combat system's fun, the way you upgrade's fun, like the skills are fun, like fighting is even actually like fighting with your fists is even like different. Um, what driving on the other hand, driving has got me a lot of problems. It got me killed multiple times because I'm trying to turn, and then all of a sudden I basically run into a fucking kid and get shot through the fucking car window from like a cop that saw the whole goddamn thing.
Yeah, that happens to me a lot too. And I just recently found out, oh, I can drive in third person. I felt so fucking dumb when that happened.
So the thing about driving, and I was having this conversation with Ganja literally today. The thing about driving in this game is it's not wonky, it's not badly optimized, it's realistic. So when you're, and I'm playing this, I'm playing on mouse and keyboard. So you accelerate, pressing W, and the car will kind of maintain its speed a little bit and drop much like you would in real life. Turning is where people fucks up because people are like, oh, I gotta hold left, I gotta hold right to turn. No. You have to tap it like a car, like a steering wheel.
Yeah.
Like when you turn, you just go fucking 3 to there. You kind of turn it a little bit, and the car goes left and right. Once I figured that out, driving became a lot more doable.
Well, same thing with the brakes too. Like the braking, if you're going at high speeds, and by the way, I love that it has a miles per hour on the bottom left of the screen. I think that's really cool. I think that's something that makes me not excited about GTA driving or Saints Row driving. The fact that this has that makes me feel like a need for speed mixed with the free roaming of a Grand Theft Auto game. That's super cool. But Ganja, I'm gonna ask you, man, was this worth it? And if someone asked you that question, I've been asking everybody else, good or bad, what would you say in response to it?
Is it worth it?
mean,
Honestly, at this point, I don't think so. With the bugs and the way the graphic cards have been kind of faulty with it, I think if you really want to play a really good game, because I'm dealing with certain issues where some of the dialogue has dropped or character cutscenes have like completely skipped along, and I don't know what the character motivation is. I don't know what my goal is anymore, and it reminds me very similar to what I dealt with the first Fallout 4 release. And if anyone knows me back then, I really hated Fallout 4 until I got to play it a year later. So I think Cyberpunk is going to be one of those games that I think if you want to play a complete game and it's not just something that you want to enjoy the hype or take a chance to enjoy like something that's currently trending, I think you could easily pass it. The only reason I really bought it is one, I like the universe and I like the idea of Cyberpunk, as well as I'm a huge fan of RPGs just in general, and especially ones that have loud choice and dialogue and character creation. But this one felt very like it was more marketing than it was actually what's in the game.
Yeah, and I guess I can respect all that, but to go on more so of my fucking little rant here is, and I'll keep being positive, and everyone's being positive. It's like,
Can I say something else as well?
What's up?
I will say also the game actually can be incredibly confusing at first too, because it seems like they're like throwing a lot of information at you. Like I still don't completely get the hacking system. I got it for the most part, but like when you're going to upgrade stuff, it's just kind of like, okay, I don't understand what that is. I don't understand what that is.
Or brain
I really
dancing.
don't understand what that is.
And the thing is, and that's something. No, because I get what Jet's getting at, and this game has a lot of different systems. I actually really like the hacking, but the only reason I figured it out is because this game it's an RPG in its core, but it's not like it's more traditional RPG than you would expect. It's actually very similar to Skyrim, or for Nick, it's actually very similar to Dying Light. Mm-hmm. You get experience not based on a general, hey, you leveled up, now allocate your points. It has that. But what it also has is a subsystem of every action you do in the game gives you a little bit of experience. Right now, me and Jet are playing it a completely different style. She's more stealthy, so every single time she gets a kill, she gets a take that enemy, she gets stealth points. Me, I'm running and gunning, so I'm getting more of the actiony points. And then once you get enough of those points, you level up and get general points you put anywhere. But there's a subsystem of, because I'm using swords, for instance, I get to upgrade my blades, and the blades itself has a certain level up system.
Yeah.
So based on like if I'm level 10 in blades, I get these perks that Jet won't have access to because she's not level 10 in blades, but she's more stealthy, so she's gonna have access to that stuff than I won't. I will never. I don't do stealth. I'm terrible at it in some cases, which is funny because I love the Assassin's Creed series, but I tend to be really bad at stealth. But I love the hacking. So I'm learning that system. The game it's very similar to Fallout, and that's why me and Gaja keep bringing it up, because it lets you specialize in what you want to play as. Do you just want to play this as a first-person shooter? There are perks for that. There's a system for that. Do you want to do a mix of stuff? It lets you kind of go in there and lets you dive in and figure it out, because I basically said, fuck it, I'm going to dedicate 45 minutes to understanding the hacking. And once I did, I have one of my favorite abilities is the gun glitching, where it's like, oh shit, there's a sniper in the corner. I'm gonna gun glitch you, have a shootout while this dude for 30 seconds can't figure out why his gun works. It's awesome.
Yeah, that is a really cool concept. I haven't utilized that because I've played a lot. I've spent about 8 hours on this game so far, just collective, and I haven't even experienced things like that yet. And there's even there's gigs that you get in here. I haven't even unlocked all those. I've only played like 1 gig, and I've been doing mainly side missions and story missions. I'm actually 30% done with the game as far as story goes. And speaking of that, I'll go into the positivity of this. Like, my biggest compliment I can give the game is that, its story. It's really well thought out. The voice acting is fucking incredible. The characters are fleshed out. There's a lot of twists and turns that surprise the fuck out of me. Thank you very much for that, by the way, E-Mike. But, before I even continue on, because this is the biggest thing that I need to bring up, especially when it comes to me and you, Alan, how we even play games. Can I ask you a simple question? Let me ask you, what is the physical act of playing a video game? Like, the physical act. And I mean in a sense of I walk in a room, I'm not being able to see your TV screen or monitor, and I had to guess what you're doing just by looking at your body. What is the physical act of you playing a video game?
I mean, in my case, I guess I'm clicking keys on a keyboard and stuff. Like, I'm not. I feel like I feel like I should understand your question, but I kind of don't.
Well, you kind of answered in a sense is a controller, right? And for me, when I play this game, and this is my complaint about this. When you play this game, there's so many things I've done here where I am not even touching my controller. There's times where I'm just holding the left analog stick forward while I'm playing something on my phone or when I'm listening to music or I'm watching a movie. There's times, dude, where there's rides. So in GTA, if you have a dialogue heavy thing where you gotta travel somewhere and you're going to a new location or something, you drive the car. You gotta be paying attention. You're playing a video game, so you have to play it physically.
Okay.
But in here, there's times I'm the passenger, and I'm literally, guys, I don't like being in Ubers. I don't like being in lifts. I hate talking. I'm stuck in a fucking lift in the goddamn game, dude. And usually can skip dialogue, but since this is so important, you can't skip it.
Well, okay, so the thing about it is, especially very early game, yes, but as it goes on, you can skip almost all the dialogue. But the thing about it is, you're right, this game is very, very heavily story. And when it comes to video games, I feel like that video game should do both. I feel like video games should have a good story and good gameplay because the story justifies your actions. Because if that's the case, go play a shoot 'em up where you just go play Einhander, you want a punch or whatever. But for games like this, it's like the reason a lot of people, not necessarily giving it passes, but are enjoying it, and Ganja even brought this up, is the universe itself is so interesting. So when I'm listening to dialogue, and I'll say this, there's not as much action as I would like personally, so I had to go out of my way to find it. But there in the open world. In the missions themselves, they don't have as much action. But at the end of the day, this isn't an action shooter like Doom or Wolfenstein. This is an RPG, so it's focused on the story and the world building. But I really feel that that's because of the first part of the game that we're all at. We have to get used to these characters because there's certain things that happen. There's a certain thing that happens right before the end of the first act that I'm like, this is the tutorial. That's how a tutorial ends. Dude, I'll say this. I got the splash screen for the game 8 hours into it.
No, same here. Jet just found that out today, and she's been playing for I think as long as I have, and I found that setting or that screen
I was
3 hours in.
What? That's supposed to be the first hour.
But here's the thing though. You know what padded that shit out? Is not, for one, not knowing what the fuck to do, and two, there's a character named Jackie, guys, and we're only talking about the street I forgot his name, Street Kid fucking storyline. But I go into place with him, and I swear to God, dude, he's walking with a briefcase, and he's like, "Hey, honey, how you doing? Hey, you doing good? Hey." And they were walking. No, I love Jackie. He's great. I would love to see him in a movie, but I don't want to play walking out to him, and then my character, I can't even fucking sprint, and he's just taking his fucking time. And then I swear to God, guys, Jackie gets in line to talk to the teller. And then we go up the elevator, and we gotta wait in real time when the elevator comes down. Then you go back up. Then he's like, you know what? I'm gonna sit down. My legs are tired. Okay, so we gotta wait here a couple hours. It skips 2 hours, guys, and I swear to fucking God, after the 2 hours, you still gotta fucking wait. What the fuck?
Especially when it gives you the chance, and every open world game does this. Hey, step to the open world. There's a lot of stuff to do in between the missions, and I really enjoyed that. You could do a lot of the assault stuff. You do a lot of small gigs. There's a lot of stuff I didn't end up doing because I want to. When I play a video game, especially an open world game, I have a system I go where I play a bunch of the main quests, until all the tutorial, all the teaching stuff's out of the way, and then I go and do a bunch of side quests. For this, I kept doing main quests because the game was still teaching me stuff, and it teaches you stuff for a while because there's a lot of open world stuff, but it's very breadcrumby. You walk in, solve an assault, shoot a bunch of people. You do a side quest, it's go take out a couple people. But there are a lot of different side quests, much like with The Witcher. But what I want, and I think I'm finally getting this in the second act, is I'm getting more side-related quests. Because one of the things I stopped playing is there's literally a side quest to get your car back. And I feel like now we're finally getting to what is more traditional in open world games of main quest and side quests. So a lot of what you're complaining about, Nick, is because I don't think it's necessarily padding, because padding means there's nothing. There is a lot there. There's a lot of story. There's a lot of world building. But I think what it is the game is basically getting a lot of the world out of the way so that the second half can be more of what you're used to of different stuff. Because was one of the complaints, and Ganja, I don't know if you're still there, but one of the complaints of Fallout game specifically is you just forget the main quest exists immediately.
You feel that way, Ganja?
Because
Sometimes, yes, especially with the early renditions as well as Fallout 3 and New Vegas. But I don't know, man. This one, I got to play a little longer. I can't give a final judgment on it, really.
Yeah, it makes sense.
But it's one of those things where it's like you got so much of the story that now that it's splitting off, it makes a lot more sense, and I really appreciate that. Because again, the Gunner's point, like I didn't really know. I actually enjoyed it because I didn't really know where the story was going. The first part, and I was like, wow, that's really interesting. Because what the fuck is really going on? You don't really know. Because it's not like a traditional game. Like with a Far Cry game, you kind of can figure out what's going to go on. Of at some point, some crazy villain's going to fuck you over, and you got to take down his empire. Yada yada yada. That's every Far Cry game. We know it. But with this, it was very nuanced because I didn't really know where it was going. Now I have an idea of what's happening, and I really like where it's going. So I'm curious to see what the ending's going to be. But I think right now it's like once you start playing the second act, it's starting to feel more like a regular open world game. Because the first act is a linear game.
Yeah, I guess my main point here, I'm going to be as nice as I possibly can. I just think that, I mean, are you grading this game as a game or as a concept / story? Because I grade on gaming, and when I'm playing, when I'm talking about gaming, I'm talking about when I'm actually playing. And, I love the action, I love the weapons, I love all that stuff, I love the options. But when CD Projekt Red promised me that the game was going to give me hours and hours of entertainment, I didn't think those hours were going to be padded out by shit that could have been in a cutscene. I mean, there's times where I'm just walking around behind somebody, and it's like, wow, I could have seen this being a really interesting cutscene with really good fucking, like, special effects or graphics or whatever being put onto there, and they just didn't do it. And I didn't think those hours doing that were, like, so terrible, in the game, but it's like, that's a big percentage of my fucking playthrough. Like, that's kind of ridiculous. This is the same problems I have with Red Dead Redemption 2, The Last of Us 2, the Uncharted games, fucking so much. I know I'm missing a few, but like there's a lot of games that came out like after 2008 that want to do that. I talked about the Nathan Drake scene where he gets shot. The whole game he gets shot constantly, but for this cutscene he gets shot, and now you have to slowly control Nathan Drake for a fucking...
No, you're missing that part. Only when he's walking. When he's climbing, he suddenly doesn't have a bullet wound.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt. By the way, climbing ladders fucking off a cliff and all this shit hurts a lot more than walking, dude.
They did it way better than the fucking Tomb Raider reboot where she gets like a rebar through her fucking like whatever, and she's still able to move around a little bit, but you have less health, and if you try to do the dodging, you basically can almost die during that. And I'm like, yeah, that's a way better use of that. But I see what you mean with a lot of how stories blending in with gameplay. But I really think what they want to do is, again, the better version of The Last of Us 2, where they want to give you this world. And yes, there's a lot. This first half is a lot of story. And for gameplay, you have to kind of go out of your way to get more action-y. But that's kind of the game that they're going for. It's very similar to the last game they made, The Witcher, where The Witcher starts off with you kind of fighting and there's action-y. But there's a lot of story because it's a rolling start. It's one of those things where it's going to take a little while to roll. But once it gets going, you're going to start seeing a lot of cool stuff. And I'm already seeing that shit. Like, again, as soon as I woke up at the second act, I got like 15 freaking quests. Everyone was calling me. I'm the most popular person in the world. I'm like, I wish I was this popular in real life.
But to wrap it all up, dude, I'm going to give my first impressions rating for this because everything considered, my experience with Cyberpunk overall has been average. And so much of that has to do with 2020 gaming. I hate to say it. And I want to be the repetitive book of bullshit that's, like everyone always hears on these shows, but it is the truth, and I can't keep wasting energy on that, especially because people in the chat right now are like 100% the reason why this is happening, in my opinion. I think that...
I mean, they're kind of with us. Cedric said this was on our best reviews, so...
Yeah, but it's just like for me, the only thing keeps this from being the biggest piece of shit that infuriates me to my core is the fact that it is a good game. Like there's things like, and I didn't even talk about this a lot because I feel like it's unimportant at this point. So many people covered it, but like the Steam shit, man, not being able to play this for 45 minutes when I first bought the game, and then I play it for a few hours, and it just turns off on me. Literally uninstalling the game to the point where I got to restart my computer and do all this other shit. The fact that they didn't let, dude, we actually shared this on the show because you weren't there for it. But me, Ganja, Roxy, and Jet were here, and it was stuck at 95%, and it was like the whole world was like that.
Yeah, dude, that was what I was gonna say. I was dealing with that situation with GOG, where it was stuck at 97%. Sorry, 92% for like an hour, and I almost threw my computer out the window. Like, I'm an impatient kind of person, but I can generally contain it if necessary. I've been waiting for this game when this game got announced. What was it? It was 2002, so I was just about to enter college, or it was halfway through college. I had 2 degrees, and this game just came out.
2012, by the way, because I think you said 2002, and I was like, wait.
2012, but like, yeah,
yeah.
2012, and it's like I just started my college, and it's like I have 2 degrees, a job, all this shit, and the game just came out, so it's like I'm just like, why the fuck can I not play this now? So it's like there are a lot of issues with this launch, but I think the people are. Because they were waiting for so long, and in some cases people were probably like teenagers and now they're adults when this game came out, that a lot of this stuff is becoming like, yo, what the fuck? It's becoming an 11, much like with Star Wars. It's a very similar situation in Star Wars, where if you're like, wait, this isn't that bad, oh no, it's the worst thing ever because it happens in a Star Wars thing. Like, oh no, this one movie was shitty. No, it's the worst movie ever made of all time because it's Star Wars. And you're someone that like has so many issues with video games, but you weren't really anticipating Cyberpunk. Yeah. So the issues to you don't outweigh the goodness, because to you, you've only been hyped for 3 months.
True. Well, but that's the biggest thing about this too, is whether like the hype or whatever is a situation there. It's just like, for me, because here's the thing. To wrap it up, is like, it is a good game. It's almost great, but there are 2 horrible sides to this being almost great. One being that it sucks that I paid $60 for an almost great game, waited this long for it, had to go through what I went through to even play it, and had an entire gaming industry being negatively affected by its release just for it to be almost great. And the number 2 reason that's horrible about this being almost great is that even though I'm not as impressed as I should have been, this game is one of the best to come out this year because its industry is so fucking piss poor, disrespectful, and elitist that no one has demanded that when they spend $60 on a fucking video game, it's actually a quality. In a month when the hype wears off, no one's going to talk about this game, unfortunately. I know the story's cool. I know there's things that are great about this game. But it's because of this fucking industry that this was not a good experience. This was a terrible experience for a great game, or an almost great game. When people don't fight for fucking quality, it ruins shit like this. And that's always going to be the case. I hate to go on a rant about 2020 gaming or gaming in general, and I know people are sick of hearing that shit, but it's like, dude, guys, you know how many fucking people probably were going to buy this game and then they didn't? And by the way, I was going to bring this up as a topic for the show. CD Projekt Red stocks went down, dude.
Yeah, that was weird, but because the thing is one of the reasons it went down is because of the negative press around it. But I always equate it to the very same thing as Star Wars. Honestly, I'll say this straight up. I think Watch Dogs had a way worse launch. Because, hey, do you know what worked in Cyberpunk? The sound. When you drove. Is the most jarring thing in the fucking world when you're driving a car that has 0 sound.
Yeah.
It's like, am I driving? Again, every problem you think you had with Cyberpunk is way worse in Watch Dogs. But because nobody cares about Watch Dogs, that's out of being like 4 other people, it never made news. That got forgotten about. I don't think this is going to get forgotten about. But at the end of it, the reason why the glitches I had, and I talked to people that know, it was mostly texture load-ins where some of the character models just didn't load in. Like my car always looked like it was a fucking N64 car. But that stuff never really bothers me, because at the end of it, it's like every single product, media, I don't care what it is always going to have some version of an issue, but it's always going to be like, how much am I enjoying what I'm getting? And if it outweighs it, then cool. But it's again why I think The Last of Us is the most quality game of the year without any single problems. I don't think there's a single graphical glitch, audio issue, crash at all. And it's my worst game of the year. Because even if a game is perfect, doesn't mean it's good. I will take Cyberpunk with all of its flaws to keep playing Cyberpunk.
And I do respect that, and I I did think like that back in the day, but maybe it's just my old age. Maybe I'm just an angry motherfucker. Maybe I am the fun police. Maybe the chat's right, But for me, it's a 2.5 out of 5 for me, and a big part of that rating is that this was a bad launch. If I played this a month later, maybe that rating would be different. This is, a first impression, but I've literally held the controller and clicked buttons for about an hour and a half straight out of 8 hours of the game actually being on. And that's frustrating, man. What the fuck? So I don't know if anyone else feels that way. I'm going to go around the board and just see what everyone else says about ratings goes. I'm going to start with Ganja. First impressions wise, man, what would you rate this out of 5?
Honestly, I'll give it a strong 3 out of 5. I had a really good time playing it. Some of the mechanics I enjoyed, a lot of the scenery, a lot of the story, a lot of the characters I'm really enjoying so far. But like I said, I haven't completely beat the game, so I'm gonna have to give it some time before I actually play through it because I haven't even ran into Keanu Reeves yet.
Oh shit, yeah. That's crazy.
Honestly, I can't I thought it was gonna be one of those situations where, hey, second one, Keanu. They actually really I don't want to say necessarily hide him, but they definitely build the world up first.
Yep, they do, and they do that really well. Jet, how about you? What would you rate this first impressions wise? What could you give it? This early into the game.
So far right now, I'd give it like Ganja 3 out of 5. Because while I do enjoy it, I do enjoy the dialogue going on. Especially since I'm someone who loves dialogue in games. I can sit there and listen to dialogue for a while. The glitches are a problem, especially later. And it can get confusing for a while, and you're constantly thrown information towards just whoa. What is this piece of paper? Why is it giving me all this fucking information? Oh, this is 7 paragraphs for this, and it's all world building. I'm not gonna read all this. But besides that, so far, I have been having fun with it. I do like the characters. Fun gameplay, yes. And I haven't gotten that far in it, but from what I have so far, yeah, 3 out of 5.
And Alan, you already gave your rating, but is there any lasting words that you just want to say? Just really, really quick. Just anything that you kind of expect out of the game or just expect out of the CG Projekt Red stocks dropping or anything like that?
At the end of it, what I'm expecting, because when I first played it, I was actually very worried because I wasn't a huge fan of the shooting when I first did it. I wasn't a huge fan of the melee. I wasn't a huge fan of... I was like, yo, okay, why are there... Because when you play The Witcher, there were so many nuances with side quests and Witcher contracts and treasure chests. So there was so much extra to do in the open world. With this, it's like, why did you just fill my entire fucking map and made it so I couldn't really explore? Why is it that every assault is just shoot a bunch of people and it's done in 2 seconds? Why is there anything else to do in this? Until I was like, well, let me just focus on the main story. And now I'm finally starting to get it because I'm like, oh, everything is deliberate in this. And that's one of the things that I had to, and I'm glad I played 10 hours because everything in this game is extremely deliberate. The way shooting works is very deliberate. The cover system is fantastic. The dialogue is really, really good. The way the levels are built is intricate because everything they do is extremely deliberate. There's no half-assed mechanics in this game. But there are a lot of bugs and glitches, and I cannot ignore that. And I think one of the reasons that it's not a 5 out of 5 to me is because, one, I don't do that. I don't give 5 out of 5s. I've played thousands of games. Even my favorite game of all time, Ocarina of Time, is not a 5 out of 5 because I don't believe in perfect ratings. I believe every game has a flaw. No matter how big, no matter how small it is, every game has a flaw. This flaws is a lot of what Jet's saying. There's a lot of information that gets thrown at you. A lot of stuff that's not in the story. The open world map is messy. It is really difficult to see what the fuck you want to do, and everything kind of clumps up where it just feels like it feels like a mess. It feels like the room of my floor. Where I'm like, there's so much overlapping stuff. I think the inventory system is terrible, but a lot of that stuff can be easily fixed. So normally I would give it a 4 out of 5 as this is the best, but this is a 4 out of 5 because I think there's a lot of extra stuff that can easily be fixed over time. But as of right now, it's like, I wish it was there. I wish it's more of the quality of life. I wish the map was better. I wish the inventory was better. I wish that I could press a button from my keyboard and get to my inventory because I keep pressing tab that does nothing. I press N that gets me to the map. I press C that skips cutscenes. I'm like, shit, I gotta stop pressing that because that's a crouch button. It's like there's so many control things. I'm like, bro, who made this? So it's like, yeah, 4 out of 5.
Like, no, you SmackDown. Here comes me had no flaws, sir. I don't know about that.
I don't know. There's flaws. I'm not saying that this game's flawless. I went through a lot of stuff that personally bothers me. I think the car teleporting is hilarious because at one point it teleported, but I guess there was a car there already, so the car just started flying in the air.
Yeah. So. I don't know, man, but that's pretty much it for Cyberpunk thing. So here's the thing, guys. I'm just gonna warn y'all because I know that reviews kind of go a little bit long and everything. But like, if Ganja and Alan, if you guys are like, man, it's late, you guys can leave if you want to. But I'm gonna talk about this fucking show that I'm a little in love
before
with.
you do that, E-Mike sent a bunch of questions. If you want to just kind of speak through them.
Actually, I wrote them down. So he said, whatchamacallit, did you see that trailer for R2 bro? Vin Diesel's going to be in it. So I know we didn't talk about that earlier, but Vin Diesel being in the game, I gotta tell you, dude, I was thinking it was gonna be Fast and Furious Primal. That would have been really fucking amazing.
That would have been hilarious. Because at one point the trees start wrestling. I'm like, yo, if a car comes out, I'm done.
Dude, that would be the shit. But another thing he said too is, according to what IGN says, in the Spider-Man sequel, not Miles Morales' Venom is going to be either a bad guy or a playable character, or both. And do you think Harry Osborn won't be Venom for long? How do you think it will text to? So you kind of messed up on the spelling.
Yeah, I think he's basically asking how, like, what are they going to do with Harry Osborn as Venom? And I hope I didn't spoil that for anybody, but
it might not happen though, right? 'Cause that's not like official, right?
Well, okay. So, this is a spoiler for 2008 Spider-Man. I'm gonna say this real quick. The game came out 2 years ago, but I'm a spoiler fanatic, so I will say this right now: spoilers for that game, including the new Miles. If you play to the end of Spider-Man and you go to the after credit teaser, one of the characters in the game, Harry, it gets talked about a lot, but you don't ever actually see him because he quote unquote went on a vacation. Now, you have no reason to believe otherwise in the game because it's like, yeah, he's a rich kid. Of course he went on vacation. Who gives a shit? But one of the last missions of the game, you go to Harry's room and you realize he has the disease that they talk about in the Spider-Man movies. I can't remember what it's called, but he has a degenerative disease. So you're like, oh, that's why he went on vacation. No, he went to a facility to get healed because he's dying. So it was a really gut punch because it's like, this is one of Peter's friends that's dying and he didn't know, and you really feel that from the character. So the after credit teaser for Spider-Man is you see his dad walk up and go, Harry, I hope you're okay. And then you see the symbiote latch to the inside of the canister.
Oh, shit.
So his father is using the symbiote. Most likely he got it from a moon rock or something to heal his son up. Now, obviously, because we know the symbiote, it's going to break out. And most likely it's going to be you're going to fight Venom and he's going to be Harry Osborn instead of traditional Eddie Brock that Venom usually is. Okay. So the question he's asking is Eddie Brock Venom or is this a new Venom? Like, what are they going to do with it?
So for me, I mean, I'll get your opinion. I know you said a lot right now, so I'll say mine, then I'll ask yours. But like for me, and I'll ask Gancha too. But like for me, I think that it should stay Eddie Brock. I think that especially like the Tom Hardy type character, I think that he brought some life to it where it's like, maybe in the video games or cartoons, whatever, they can take something from the movie. And I know everyone's like, "Oh, fuck the movie, it's stupid," but it's like there's a certain comedy with it. Yeah, I don't know. Like, let's change up Venom just a little bit, and Carnage too while we're at it, because that sounds fucking ridiculous. And the way they ended off the Venom movie with how he did, I don't take Carnage seriously in any form, whether it's cartoons, video games, fucking anything. So please.
He's always been this weird thing of we want to make him like this psychopathic, brutal murderer. And when you read the comics, it works. Like, we want to make him like imagine if Freddy was way more sinister instead of jokey, like the very sinister, like Freddy 3 type stuff. Yeah. But he's way more crazier. So get Freddy and mix him with the Joker kind of stuff.
Which could be cool.
Problem is but the problem is on television, you can't do that. So he's always cartoony. So because we can't be that brutal. But with a video game, you can almost get away with that a little bit more. But as far as it's like, hey, you changed the Tinkerer's backstory and you made it work. For Miles Morales, I see no reason why you don't change up the formula. I am sick and tired that every single Spider-Man villain is related to Spider-Man in some way. I think that's just really cheap and lazy to get you.
They should have changed something with Prowler, by the way. Like that could have easily been changed.
Not really. I like what they did with the Tinkerer, but I wish the Tinkerer wasn't your best buddy. The Prowler, it's like, hey, that villain's big enough that you kind of have to stick with that. But I wouldn't have minded the Tinkerer be someone he didn't know.
I can see your point in that. Then I mean, is that whole Star Warsism again? I know we've been clowning Star Wars all day, but it's like, yeah, it's the universe, the galaxy, the size of your neighborhood. It's like, what the fuck? What you call it? Like saying, Diaz, do you think Venom will be a playable character in Spider-Man sequel? I do think that. I do think that they're going. If Venom had more love from people, and I mean like 2% more fucking love, they would have made a game for that shit, and would have been in the Marvel Spider-Man 2018 game engine.
Well, he's never had a full game, but he's had playable aspects. Ultimate Spider-Man, one of my favorite ones. There was Marvel's Imperfects or Rise of the Imperfects or some shit where it was a fighting game, and he got to play as Venom. So he's done it, and they've always made him like a stronger Spider-Man. He doesn't have as much. He doesn't have a spider sense, but he's like almost. Imagine if the Hulk had webs type shit.
Yeah, well, I always go back to Alex Mercer from Prototype, and everything that I saw from how they did that game, I've always felt like, you know what, these guys need to do nothing but comic book games, and I would love to see either Hulk or Venom do something within that world. You know what I mean? He's saying, don't forget about Maximum Carnage. You get to play as Venom in that game. Oh yeah, I forgot. Isn't that on Super Nintendo? Or I could be wrong.
Yeah, no, it's N60. It's at Super Nintendo or N64. I know it's old, and it was that's the only one people genuinely enjoy. But again, it's very difficult to make that character work because he's so vicious. With Venom, you can kind of pull it off, but I'm curious to see because they put a lot of effort into world building with the villains in the Spider-Man game. So I doubt he's going to be playable because I think what they're going to do is they're going to do a Devil May Cry situation where you get to play as Peter and Miles, at different points in the story. There's going to be a cutscene where you can only play as Miles or you can only play as Peter just to make it work. It'd probably be, 50 or 60-40. I doubt they're going to have 3 playable characters because they don't want to split so many different gameplay systems. Because Venom isn't going to play like Miles or Peter. He's going to be a completely different style of gameplay, way more power heavy, depending on how they make him.
Yeah. They're like, yeah, Peter better than Miles. Fight me, dude. Honestly, I probably would fight you if I gave you enough of a shit, but I disagree fully. Miles Morales is definitely better than Peter Parker, in my opinion.
I kind of agree with Kirk.
Really? Okay.
But only because I don't know as much about Miles, but and Spider-Man I grew up with, so that's literally it. I just grew up with Peter. And Miles, to me, it's like I outside of a Spider-Verse and this game, I really don't know anything about him.
So Ganja, before we move on to the review that I was going to do and everything, I want to ask you your thoughts about Mike's question. Harry being Venom or whatever. Do you think that's a cool idea, or what do you feel about that?
Honestly, I'm cool with it one way or another. I think it's a good way to shake up the traditional Spider-Man story. I think a lot of the stuff is being replayed or redone to the point that it's becoming predictable. So adding a couple little left-wing turns right there, well, no problem with me, actually.
Yeah. But we'll move on from this though now, guys. So here's the thing, and this probably is going to come across like, wow, why the fuck are you touching on this? Well, it's trending. But yeah, I was looking for things to watch on Netflix.
Oh man, Chinese Heroes.
Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, I forgot about Heroes. I completely forgot about that show. Did you like that show, by the way, or no?
No, that show was good for 2 seasons. That went downhill so hard.
All right, well, yeah. But this show, the series on Netflix, is called Alice in Borderland. So for those of you that are unfamiliar about what this is, apparently it was a manga, which I was very, very surprised about.
Oh, no. A live-action adaptation of a manga. Oh, no.
Yeah, this came out around November 2010 and was released in a serialization through the Shogo... I don't know how to say this shit, guys. Shogo Kokan's Shonen Sunday S magazine. So basically, it's like a comic strip. Like, they had those little serials where, like, they tell, like, a one-page story, and then they just keep coming out with episodes like every month or whatever the fuck it was. But this continued till 2015. And finally, and it's so weird because... based on that, because he even got an OVA in 2014. So This shit was like kind of a big deal, and I've never heard of this in my life. I've never seen anything about this. Have you, by the way? Have you ever heard of Alice in Borderland?
No, besides you bringing it up a couple of days ago, I had no idea it really even existed. But Tay saying that she really enjoyed it because she likes deadly games, and I'm seeing people with swords in the background, and come on, it's me.
Yeah,
I love that sword in my background.
Oh, dude, the choreography on the show, by the way, just a little spoiler, it's fucking amazing.
Oh yeah, my God. Up as we speak, because I'll add it to the list.
Yeah, dude, like there's like, especially when I get to like episode 4, I'm like, man, Alan needs to watch this. Like, holy shit,
dude. So, guy with a sword in a background. Just show me. As soon as I saw the image, my first thought was, I need to see the show because that every character looks cool.
Yeah, and Jed, I gotta ask you, have you ever heard of Alice in Borderland? Because you even heard of like Alita before I even knew about that. Like, you know a lot of shit about mangas and anime, so.
It's not uncommon to not hear about certain like animes and stuff like that, especially ones that are based on like comic strips or like mangas, because there's literally thousands of mangas that come out a year. Mm-hmm. So like it's not that uncommon to not hear of one. I will say while watching like I think episode 2 of this, I didn't know it was based off like a manga. Mm-hmm. So I was just like, they had a character in there with like silver hair, and I was just like, okay, this had to be based off of manga, because most of the time they will not put people with different colored hair in there unless it's based off something.
Mm-hmm.
They love giving them all like black hair or something like that.
Yeah, and it was like, I will say, with me not knowing it was a manga, because I didn't know it was a manga before this. I was just like kind of preparing how maybe we're gonna start this review, and that's where I had that information that was a manga. But I could have put that together just by looking at it, because I'm like, that's a very questionable fucking like wig, bro. Like, what the fuck's going on here?
Yeah, so like it's most likely that character like in the manga actually has white hair. Like they would never make that choice if this was original.
Yeah. But I'm looking at this though, and yeah, it basically centers around three main characters that you see over here. They're high school aged. Main character Arizu and his friends Karube and Chota. These guys are going through some shit where basically, you know, the guy in actually I'm gonna rewind this.
Are they in high school?
So in the manga they are, but in here it kind of makes sense that they're in high school, because if you remember correctly, in the very first episode, actually the very first scene when he's playing video games, his brother's like, "You need to get a job. You need to go back to school. You need to do something." And then his dad's like, "Yeah, stop fucking pissing off your brother. You gotta get off your ass and do something." And he, you know, apparently
like that seems like they're more collegey, especially with the one that works in a bar. But I'm not really sure how drinking laws go over there, like serving alcohol goes on over there.
Yeah, exactly. And I want to show these guys. Here we go. So over here, you guys can see this. Irizu, he's the guy on the left. He's the guy who looks like fucking Liu Kang, basically. Just like, I'm obviously the main character.
What's with his neck?
He's really skinny, but I guarantee you girls love this fucking guy. Because even me, I'm like, man, I'd be jealous of this dude. We went to the same school. I'd be like, man, fuck you, bro. But the guy with the orange hair and the orange vest to fucking combine it all to be like, that's my character. I stand out, don't I?
I don't know if anyone, I tried to cut you off, but for people that remember Dragon Ball Evolution, there's a character that dresses exactly like that dude.
Really?
Oh my, I'm not kidding, with the shirt and the hair and everything. He like trains Goku. It's fucking ridiculous.
But the thing is, all these guys are going through something differently all at the same time, and you get to these the collective tissue that brings all these particular problems together so these guys kind of link up and, you know, physically is, and it's all done, by the way, through text messages, which I thought was kind of cool. I know that like Luke Cage did it and lots of other stuff did it, like in America. I haven't seen it too much in live action live action Asian stuff. I've seen it in anime. But that's pretty much about it. So this is kind of a new thing for me as far as like this type of show. That was pretty cool. But the guy in orange, his whole thing he's going through is he's working at a bar and got caught macking on his boss's girlfriend. So already we're getting a fight, like, and it's blood.
Oh shit.
Yeah, there's blood and everything. He gets in a fucking, like, it wasn't like huge fight or anything, but like the punches I felt were really, really good. And it's like, okay, this is what you guys are capable of. Like, you guys are gonna show blood. You're gonna show teeth fucked up. You're gonna, you know, have cussing, because the dubs, you know, they're like, hey, fuck you, motherfucker, you're fucking my girl, you know, so it's like, they already set the tone to what to expect, you know what I mean, and I love that. Another big thing, and I'm not saying it because I'm just some dumbass, like, oh, cussing, I'm a big boy, but Chota, the guy that you guys can't see, that's perfect for the framing here, because he does not matter. He's always the wimp of the group, he's always the guy that's not going to be talked about too much, and his thing, what he's going through, is his mom or sister or somebody is constantly asking him for money, and he's such a pushover that he's like, well, I gotta help the family, I just do what the fuck they want me to do. So that's what his goal is, or his role, basically. And then Arizu, or Arisu, I don't know how to say his fucking name, but the thing is though, this guy, like I said earlier with Jet, you know, he's at home playing video games, and the backstory they give for this guy is that he's so into video games that he's smarter than everybody else. Oh man,
oh my god,
I bet this won't come into play later on, dude.
Oh man, this is like when I play my video games. I hate people that like video games and shows, because that's their entire personality.
Yeah,
it's like, do you remember the Kevin Hart movie
with Ice Cube? Yeah, Right Along.
Yeah, Right Along, where it's like, oh, he's the only personality trait is he like video games, so every action and every word he says is a result of the video game. He's in a shootout going, oh, they usually drop ammo on the ground from all the video games I play. Yeah. Is he like that at all, or is it actually like...
It's not like that, but the tone that this thing switches, it's almost like, why did you have to add the video game thing? Because you're like one layer away from being like the perfectly toned fucking thing that you could be. And the fact that the video game stuff kind of gets pulled into it makes it a little silly, but they actually drop it around episode 4. So the show is almost like reading the audience of like, hey, we're going to give enough here to kind of get like the nerds to come in, but afterwards, this is an adult fucking show. And that's something I really appreciate about this. But another thing I don't like about this too is that another, you know, layer to his character is that his mom died. And I don't want to make this a big, deep thing. You know, I've had someone important to me die too, you know, and whatever. But If that's your whole character, because I hate people like that in general. If someone's always like just,
You fucking hate himself for that first couple days.
yeah, I did actually. I was like, oh man, condolences, get the fuck out of here. But no, but like, I mean, and we've met people like that, and we see that in movies and shows and everything, where it's just like, you know, I go through loss, so that's everything I do is because of loss, and it's like, you could be better than that. Come on. You might say, please don't bring up that bastard. I just keep his name. I used to like him, but when I found out he was a Trump supporter, fuck him. Yeah, kind of.
Oh yeah, that's always the fuck him. Cool.
Yeah. But the thing is though, so these guys, you know, they start causing trouble. They're over here fucking around, being stupid, or whatever. And when they're going through all their bullshit to do this, they run away from security, what you guys saw in the beginning of the trailer here, and they end up like all the electricity just turns off while they're in a bathroom stall, and they come out, and I swear to God, it's like within 5 seconds that this world that was heavily populated by a ton of people is now just fucking empty. It's like post-apocalyptic The Happening type shit. Yeah. So. And I said The Happening for you, Alan.
It's like post-apocalyptic, like The Happening. I'm like the Happening, the post-apocalyptic. But you brought up The Happening.
That man hard as hell. You know that, right?
Absolutely.
Oh love The Happening.
And Tay, yeah, it's in Shibuya. Yeah, I don't know why I know I said that wrong, by the way. Again, sorry guys. I'm pretty bad at words.
To be fair to Nick, he's actually pronouncing a lot of these names way better than his history would say otherwise.
Yeah, I don't even know how to speak English at the fucking time.
Look up Les Miserables and try to.
You motherfucker! Les Miserables, or whatever the fuck.
Pronounce every syllable in the fucking word.
But they go into this building because the thing is, like, all the lights are off too when this whole end of the road situation happens. So they go into this building that only has light. It's the only building that has light in the entire place. And when they go in there, they find out that they're part of a game. As you can see over here, when they walk in, and for one, they shouldn't even walk in. They should be like, "What the fuck?" But this phone over here that they grab is the only thing that has electric anything's going on. And it's this thing telling them these duties, these obstacles, saying like, "Hey, you got 2 minutes to go through this fucking obstacle course," and going through all this shit. And the weird thing is too is like as soon as they get the the mission, I guess you can call it, they give them a card, and the card has 2 ways of telling you what the difficulty and what the genre of obstacle course is going to be. So if it's like a 4 of spades, spades means this is going to be a team match, and the 4 means is level of difficulty. 10 is the highest, obviously, and then 1 is nothing. So they're going through this, and you're like, okay, this should be fun. And, I like game shows. This is going to be a fucking whole funny ride. There's a lady that's like, I'm going to go through this door. And they're like, no, don't. And she opens it up, and literally her fucking head explodes. And it's like, and it's gory. It's like super gory. And as soon as that happened, dude, I was like, okay, we're fucking in, dude. Like, I'm loving this fucking show. It's amazing.
My dick's hard. Let's do this shit.
Because it shocks the fuck out of you. And the reason why I'm okay with spoiling that, guys, is that there's so much shocking moments in just the fucking first 20 minutes of the first episode. You're not going to feel like I weakened any of this story for you. Like, it's fucking amazing. But Jay, I'm going to ask you, when we got to that part in this show, how did you feel? Like, were you kind of like, it's kind of boring, the tone's kind of all over the place? Or did you like the gory and the whole, like, obstacle course aspect of it?
I mean, I thought it was interesting. I mean, it caught me by surprise. Before you said it was like Death Parade. Nothing like Death Parade, you fucking liar.
Okay, that's the show you were talking about?
Yeah, but I will say, later on, because she's only seen episode 1 and 2, it really gets like Death Parade later on. I will say.
Like, if you want to compare it to Death Parade, it's a gory version of Death Parade.
Hell yeah, but what Death Parade did really well, that I think this show does well too, is pulling at the emotional strings. Death Parade, the most goriest thing about that show is how it makes you feel, and I cried, dude. I literally cried at Death Parade. It's a fucking anime, and I hate when animes make me cry. By the way,
I'm like, you gotta cry right now, though.
Listen, man. No.
It doesn't like to feel any other emotion but anger.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, don't, because like I want to escape things, and the thing is with anime, I feel like when we go into anime, you don't take it seriously. I mean, Alan, do you agree with that? By the way, like watching anime, you feel like, like you don't have to have your defenses up. It's fucking anime. I'm not gonna.
No, I'm the complete opposite. Some of my favorite animes, what's it called? The emotional core is specifically why I watch it. Because I feel like that's because there's so many kind of similar genres, different genres. It's like, how well can you get me to care about the character? So it's like, it's not off guard. It's like, that's what I'm expecting. That's what I want. And a lot of enemies I don't give a shit about is because I hate your main character.
Like, I mean, because Jed, do you kind of see what I'm saying though, or do you think I'm wrong too? Like about this, like,
please agree with me, someone.
Yeah, okay. No, because I thought I had a point, but like I guess I don't. Like, because like, I thought everybody was gonna be like, "You're right," and then everyone like picks me up, and then everyone
pick you up. Yeah.
What if that happened on this show?
When I dream about it,
Bro, I love you, Nick, but I don't think even if all of us agreed with you, we would ever be able to pick you up.
oh, well, that's just a fat joke. That's fucked up.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
No, that was me being really weak.
Live with your legs, motherfucker. No. But Jet, like, did you feel like did you have your defenses up when you were watching this? Like, you're like, oh, I'm not gonna give a shit about this, or do you feel like, oh, let me judge it fairly and
I was more in the judges fairly category.
Oh, I thought you were gonna admit that you weren't taking this seriously, because I guarantee you, you're just like, man, who gives a fuck? Like,
No, I was gonna judge it fairly.
Okay, well, shit.
When you tell me to watch shit like fucking, what's that one movie where that dude stalks that woman or whatever because they like getting on in a bar, almost getting on in a bar. What was that one again?
Fuck, I don't remember now. I do not know why I can't remember now. Shit. But yeah, it is what it is. Fucking.
Yeah, I remember watching shit. That was a great movie.
But like looking at this though, man. When a second episode comes in, I do think that like, cause like I was already thinking like, okay, you know, this is an obstacle course and blah blah blah. But then like when they start killing off main characters and doesn't mind letting scenarios play out like both emotionally and mentally torturous, like in a sense of like if you put yourself, you know, in the character's shoes, you know, I feel like this having 8 episodes really did lend itself to be like, hey, we're gonna not pad all this out, but like stretch it out to the point where you have enough time with these guys that you give a fuck what happens to them. And then when the show starts picking them off, you're almost like, oh my god, like this show is like watching a fucking horror movie and then like having sequels to it, because it's like a slasher movie. There's body counts here, and I will tell you guys, you know, there's characters like there's a group of characters here that will switch halfway throughout the season, not because of just death or whatever. It's like this is a universe. So you know, on that note,
It was Fatal Affair, by the way.
what's up?
It was Fatal Affair, by the way.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, that was a great movie. That was awesome.
I was just thinking to myself, bitch, if you ever have me sit down and watch something like this again.
So, people, if you guys don't know Fatal Affair,
why does that sound so familiar?
it's a Tyler Perry movie, and it's with Omar Epps and Nia Long.
That's not a Tyler Perry movie.
That wasn't Tyler Perry movie? How the fuck was that not a Tyler Perry movie?
I didn't see Tyler Perry tattoo. I could be wrong.
Let me see here. I gotta look this up, guys. You know, it doesn't. Normally they would have it literally on the screen, but I'm looking over here and it just says Fatal Affair. So you're probably right. You are probably right. A Netflix film. So Mr. Netflix made it. That movie was fine though. I know people in the chat are gonna be like, "Oh, well."
No, it's a Tyler Perry movie, so it sucks. That's
No.
a
It's not a
rule.
Tyler Perry movie.
Yeah.
No.
Either way though, I just feel like people just want to hate on this because it looks like a Tyler Perry movie.
No.
Nick, stop trying to be Captain Save a movie. Oh no, it has a dude from House.
No, because like Omar Epps and Nia Long have really good connect. Well, okay, that sounds weird. They don't have a good connection. He's a fucking stalker.
So miscast in this. You're gonna honestly look me in the eye and say like, "Damn, this is the dude that has my panties wet and wants and has me want to cheat on my husband who's loyal to me." And like, like you get the
see,
fuck
now
out
you
of
made
here.
her-
Nick, you've had a good show today, man. We talked about the Game Awards, talked about Cyberpunk. Everyone was on your side. Everyone was like, "Yeah, it's the best chat attack ever." Yo, Fatal Affairs is great. What?
Yeah, I kind of fuck up sometimes.
You got me fucked up. Like, there's no fucking, like, oh my god, this dude is so fucking sexy
Like-
that I would just want to dig in my panties and feel the wetness. It's like,
What?
no, it's
Look.
past.
Look,
What?
the views of Nick Diaz are not reflective of the rest of the chat attack.
Fuck you guys.
Grossed out
And
by
fuck
someone.
the chat too. You know what? I'm gonna take Alan's fucking thing. All right, fuck the chat. Fuck all of you motherfuckers.
See, I said at the start of the show, he tells y'all to fuck up more than I do.
But you know, speaking of Netflix series, looking at this fucking thing though, I do like that. You know, it does become a universe later on. Jet only got to episode 2, but I will say that she's at a pivotal point where like things are definitely gonna change quite a bit here. And yeah, this show is so fucking crazy though that I mean it has rape in it. You know, it has slashers. It has drowning. It has random fucking kill. Like this whole thing with these red lasers coming down from the sky. You have to beat these games. If you don't win the game, your head explodes. So it's kind of a poignant thing here. Reminds me of The Condemned with Stone Cold Steve Austin. That fucking
Yeah, I wish that movie was better than it was.
it was pretty good though.
Yeah, it really wasn't. That ending is terrible.
Yeah, I just want to hear Stone Cold be like, "Fuck your mother."
Oh, we're gonna do this, and you can't with people and whatever this movie's about.
Fuck your mama. That's what he said. That shit was so stupid. That guy's like, "What are you doing here?" Fuck your mama. Okay, you hate authority. I get it. You're like the Stone Cold character. Fucking good soundtrack though. It had Nickelback saving me. That's the first time I heard that song. It was really good. But anyways, guys. Aside from this, I do think that this is very similar to a lot of other things I've seen, but it's combining them up in such a great way because, yeah, dude, I mean, you get horror, you get action adventure, you get romance, you get all this torturous shit going on, and at the point too where it's like it does something that I like about like Walking Dead, and I know Alan, you're probably thinking like, man, countdown when he's gonna do it. Oh, he finally did it, the Walking Dead reference. Oh, great.
It's been a while.
And I'm gonna make you even more happy. And it's also like Mortal Kombat with the choreography.
Well, I mean, again, like the idea of The Walking Dead isn't necessarily like a kiss of death of garbage because the kingdom is basically The Walking Dead, and it was really fucking good and had choreography. So it's like you already sold me on choreography and dude with a sword. So I'm like, I'm already in on just those alone. But I have a certain style that I like when I watch fights. So I have to kind of see what this is going to be about. But a lot of what you're describing is really interesting. And just seeing the clips, I'm like, you could tell a lot of it's really well acted. And yeah, by the way, you said you watched this dub or sub?
Dubbed, and the dubs are kind of. Well, I'll ask Jed actually. Jed, what do you think about the dubs?
I mean,
They're bad.
Well, I'm gonna read subtitles. That's fine.
I mean, like the thing is, I haven't actually like watched this with subtitles, so I'm gonna say like, I mean, the dub is fine. It's not great, but it's fine.
Yeah, because you can watch in his native language. Like you're cool with that. But
I'd
like,
rather, honestly. It just again because I'm watching Hunter x Hunter, and it's like, I'd rather watch the fucking. I'd rather read subtitles. I don't mind.
Yeah. So yeah, but I strongly recommend this in that sense. But like, I'm gonna ask Jed, what do you think about the unpredictability of this? Like, did you feel like they were kind of doing the same shit that you've seen in other shows or whatever? Or do you feel like, oh no, this is actually kind of like different?
There's other animes that sort of did this same thing. Because like I think Tate brought up earlier, there's Deadly Game animes, but it's kind of different from this one because there's a chance like everyone works together and gets out. Like if you choose to work together, and then there's animes that are basically just like, nah, someone here has to fucking die. You guys better choose who it is.
I actually kind of like that, where because that was one of the things the Stanford movie, that fucking movie we watched, where everyone's like in the office killing each other, and it's like
Belko Experiment.
Belko Experiment. I'm like, this is fucking terrible. Hey, people have to die, but I prefer the idea of people actually working together to actually get through a problem, even if it's like they're probably not going to be able to because of just different personalities. But I've always preferred work together to solve a problem versus you have to kill each other to solve the problem. I think that's way more interesting because you get to see how are these personalities going to get resolved versus, I guess, who's the strongest.
Like, for example, like one that's actually a death game that basically, like you're actually forced to work together because there actually is a murder that happens. Is a Danganronpa, which is where like. Yeah, a bunch of people, like a bunch of high school kids, are like sent to this new school, and then it turns out just like, yo, like someone is gonna have to murder someone else, and then you guys are gonna have to find out who did it. And if you guys get it wrong, all you die, and that person who killed the other person gets to go free. So you guys better work to find out who killed this person.
And the cool thing about this, here's another thing about this too, though, is like because so far when she's on episode 2. That is like, I mean, lots of the things is like kill, kill, kill. But this also gets to a point where it's like, it's also not killing. It's worse than death. Like, there's other shit that's like, it fucks with your head because you put yourself in a situation, it's like, my God, death sounds yummy compared to the emotional torture of having to do other things. It's like,
so it's fuck. Like, it's all mixed in with, Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, it's really weird. And then to a point too, guys, that there's even a section in this show. I won't tell you what episode it is, but it's like there's an episode that completely lends itself to what a slasher movie is, and also Among Us. It actually calls itself out and literally names Among Us like in the show. And I don't know when this was made, and I don't think Among Us was like popular when this was being made, but like they fit that in there. They literally said Among Us. And I reminded, I was like, wait, hold on, because it's already the show feels like Among Us at a certain point. But that episode in particular, I'm like, motherfucker, you guys are really on the money here. Like, that's fucking awesome. So with me saying all that shit, though, for me, as far as my rating goes, I had to put into mind that a lot of these things, the ending, you know, like it's terrible. Like I'm trying to find a way around it, but it's like the ending.
Really? You're like building everything up, and the ending sucks. Oh god. Damn it.
Yeah, like because like for one, in the beginning there's a big tone shift, and then at the ending there's a huge tone shift, and it's almost like fuck, dude. Like imagine having everything that goes into a really amazing sandwich, but the bread's old. It's like it might be fucking like 80% amazing, but the 2 10s on the side, this is fucking disgusting. And no one's gonna eat just the middle without the fucking bread. It's no longer a sandwich, and it fucks all up.
That's you.
Oh, wait, you would just eat the things in there in the
If
middle?
I had to, I've done it before.
Like a hoe.
Yeah, I'll eat the side of fucking dry ramen too.
You're disgusting ass. You've never fucking like the bread's dropped on the ground. You're like, I don't feel like picking it up, so you just scarf the rest of the burger.
Well, I've never had a bread.
No, I
No. I thought I was yelling at
like a man because I ain't afraid of no bug.
Exactly. No, Gaji called me out. So I'm like, bitch, you're the most disgusting person here.
But yeah, dude. I don't know. Like I said, I like that. You know, this, like I said, you know, like earlier, it's much like the Condemned with Stone Cold. It's like Belko Experiment, like what Alan said. It's even like Maze Runner. Lots of shit that's cool here. I just think that the ending is just, it's really, really hard to, because like the reason why the ending is bad, and I don't mind saying this because it's actually been put out there on Screen Rant and lots of other places. You guys probably already read about this, but there is a season 2. And the ending is done just because it's getting a sequel.
Oh yeah. It's one of those. Okay.
Yeah, and it's like, dude, like this wrap it up, G. Like it's over. Why are you doing this? And it's like that's what every fucking horror movie has. You know, you've said that many times, Alan. You know, it's like name one horror movie that has a good ending. It does not fucking exist.
Like, yeah, most of them are terrible. And I'll even go further because I'm sorry, some boy talk about Halloween Kills. Name one horror movie that has a really good sequel.
Yep. Well, I mean, I will disagree to an extent, but like you make a big point because I had trouble telling you something.
Nightmare on Elm Street 3.
No, there's some that are amazing, but if you look at the grand
Grand
scale,
total, there's really only like 5
out of a million movies, and yet there's like only like 1%. Yeah, because I agree with Scream. I don't think Get Out was a sequel, but and by the way, that ending, I hated both endings. You know, especially the one that's like, you know, he gets in trouble, he gets arrested, or whatever. Like that shit, wrong ending for that time of what was happening in fucking society. But then again, I guess that was a point too. I don't know. I can't really speak for Get Out because I just didn't get it, y'all. That's just me. But that's not gonna help anyone fucking listening to this review, right? But yeah, 3 out of 5 for me. Tiny bit less than average. The dubbing's gonna throw you off. The music choice is fucking weird too, by the way. But yeah, dude, I just feel like if you're in it for the ride rather than the destination, this is a fucking great series, and I think that you, Alan, would fucking super enjoy it. But
I'm legitimately like, I think I have the episode booted up. I'll probably watch it tomorrow. It's like one episode, 40 minutes, and it's really short. So what, 8 episodes this first season?
yeah, but every episode is like 40 to 50 minutes, so it's like, ooh, that's a big chunk of fucking show.
That's a big chunk.
I mean, again, if you need something to watch in between like Mandalorian finishing up like next week or whatever, like I'm definitely gonna try it out because I need another show. Because again, a lot of the weekly shows I have are just kind of done. So I'm just watching Hunter x Hunter, but I don't mind throwing on this, especially again that all that sounds interesting. And we know it's getting a second season, so it's not a situation where it's like, oh hey, this is kind of cool, it's canceled. No, you know there's gonna be something else going on. So even if you weren't a fan of the last episode, at least you know more is gonna come.
Yeah. But Jet, first impressions wise for the first 2 episodes, what would you give this as far as like everything totaled?
Like out of what? Out of 5 or like
Out of 5.
So far a 3 out of 5 because there was some things that kind of had me going, okay. Like the first episode and how they did that puzzle, just like, I mean, I guess that makes sense, but how the fuck were you able to even figure that out, man?
Yeah.
And then they explained, like, okay, come on now, that's bullshit. You're so full of shit.
It was because of video games, Jet.
No, it was.
No,
Oh really? I was kidding. Oh, nothing will ever be worse than Snakes on a
No,
Plane.
like more just like, oh, I'm fucking amazing at puzzles, and like this is how I think. Like I'm okay, well, whatever.
Yeah.
But otherwise, like, I mean, it does keep me in suspense. It has me like clutching on my heart, like, oh my god, what's gonna happen? Who's gonna get killed? But I'd give it a 3 out of 5.
Yeah.
So far.
But with that said, guys, normally I'd be like, so what's going on in the chat? No, it's late. We kept you motherfuckers here so long, and once again, chat tag crew, guys in here, I am sorry that this was so long. But
the only thing you have to apologize for is bringing up Fatal Affair.
Well, I'm not apologizing for that because the movie needs to be
You should.
appreciated. It really does.
No,
but
it
here's the
doesn't.
thing. You know what else
You're
needs to be
so
appreciated
wrong.
more? what else needs to be appreciated more, I think personally, is Metropolis Collective, because you guys did your first live show today, and I think it was cool. I think that people should go check it out. As a matter of fact, I can put it on screen right here. That is their stream right there. Alan, tell them where to find your shit and what.
Alrighty then. So if you've been looking basically on screen, yeah, what you call it, or you follow me on either Twitter or Facebook or whatever, I'm always dropping links to the Metropolis Collective, and that's where we do a Illuminati show, where we focus on politics and a lot of stuff surrounding that stuff, areas you might not think we ever get to, like how specifically how video games or music or whatever gets affected by the politics that people used to think were so separate, but are actually really intertwined. But if you're looking for other stuff, the Nunes podcast is going to have another next episode in the next few days. That you got Sports Pod still doing their stuff. We've got the Content Corner, ARPG Gaming. There's a lot of stuff that's going on. But like we did say, and I'll reiterate this for this chat as well, we did say that we will be taking a bit of a break for the Illuminati for the next couple of weeks. And so there won't be any new Illuminati stuff, but there's still going to be other content that's going out. So be sure to check that out whenever you guys get a chance. So drop a like so you guys can get the notifications for either when we go live or when we do premieres and all that stuff.
Nice, man. So, guys, yeah, once again, Metropolis Collective over there on Facebook. Go support my boys. With that said, after hours, here we go. We'll hang out with you guys right now, shoot the shit with you guys, hang out all night, watch music videos, all that good stuff. Probably some movies, because good God, you guys like that fucking movies. But that's the chat tech on Discord. See you there. Goodbye.
See you there or be square.
All that good stuff. See ya.